everyone. It is a beautiful day here at Geekdom Movies. I am Shannon. I am your host, and these are my correspondents. This is George.
Hello.
And Fahad.
Yo.
And we have some great movies to talk about today. We're all really excited about this episode. And in true Mr. Rogers' Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood fashion, got this beautiful board here. So let's see what's up first. Patreon. Oh.
I actually really like that. That's cool.
That is.
So we've got a Patreon page, guys. So check it out. It's going to have a link down in the description. We would love it if you could drop us just a couple of cents or a couple of bucks or $1 million, whatever you've got, so that we can continue.
$1 trillion.
Whatever you've got, so that we can continue to make these great reviews for you. And be sure to leave your comments and like and subscribe and all that good stuff too. All right, so let's see what's on the agenda first. Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
So I thought I would give you guys the interview, like ask questions about the movie to both of you guys, since I unfortunately didn't get a chance to see it because of my car issues. I got my car actually today. I picked it up before I came over, so I did get it. It's just been so difficult.
So you
for
were
the last week switching between my wife and
driving through the neighborhood. No.
Yeah, that's actually true. We are in a neighborhood because we're in your subdivision.
This is Fahad's new car.
Oh, I wish. That'd be amazing. But yeah, no, I didn't get a chance to see it, but I know both of you guys did. I'm dying to see it because I love Tom Hanks. I grew up with Mr. Rogers as a kid, watched A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I think most kids in the 90s probably were aware. Your mom doesn't let you watch anything, does
but I didn't watch much of it.
That's like
she loves Mr. Rogers, but for some reason we never saw it.
That's so weird.
That's very strange.
Okay.
So did you guys see the documentary that came out last year?
No, I did not.
I did not either. So I'm hoping to see that because I think it would be a
But I heard it's just the documentary redone as a movie, so it's the same thing.
I've heard from people that have seen it that there's quite a few differences, and the documentary goes a lot more in depth. This movie really wasn't even about Mr. Rogers. Yeah. It was about a guy who knows Mr. Rogers and how it affects his life. So I felt a little misled when I went into the theater, and for the first 20 minutes, Mr. Rogers is not even on screen.
Wait, what?
Yes.
That's weird. I did not know that.
That's true, yeah.
It opens up, and you're like, this is the weirdest movie I've ever seen. Did you feel like that
he was actually on screen at the very start.
The first minute, and he opens up the board. And George, what is that weird picture that he shows us?
That was really shocking. It was a beat up.
This is a spoiler review.
What face?
A beat up face. A beat up portrait of the journalist.
Yeah. So you're in Mr. Rogers' house. Tom Hanks walks in, sings the song, and he opens up the picture board.
And he's like, "Who do we have here?"
A beat up face.
Why?
Of a person you don't know.
Well, it didn't quite start with that. It started with it was the one princess in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Oh yeah, Lord and Lady Aberley.
Yes, okay. I couldn't remember her name. And then it went to the mailman, and he brought up, you remember how he always says speedy delivery? And then he went to, he's like, I have one other friend as well and that was where he went into that.
It shows a guy who's clearly been punched in the nose, and that becomes the main character.
So does that mean that Mr. Rogers did not like the journalist, or did he not want to do an interview? Is that what he's...
No.
The movie didn't portray this very well, because in real life, the person who is the main character in this movie, the journalist, was actually neighbors with Mr. Rogers and knew him from like a vacation home that they co-owned or something like that. So knew him in real life and ended up having his Mr. Rogers took over and became his like step-in father, and there was a lot more to the story than what they actually put in the movie.
Wow.
From what I've heard, but in the movie they make it look like he's just assigned a random article for the journal, and then his life is changed by meeting Mr. Rogers.
Okay.
But yeah, the first 20 minutes of this movie are about some random guy.
Yeah.
And then he later on becomes part of Mr. Rogers' story. But the trailers and the name of the movie and the poster for the movie all lead you to believe that this is going to follow Mr. Rogers.
Like all Tom Hanks doing Mr. Rogers, the whole 12 hours.
Yes, like Saving Mr. Banks. He was Walt Disney for 2 hours.
I gotta see that movie. I've never seen it.
Oh, that's a wonderful movie.
But I've never seen, what's the movie, the first one?
You've never seen Mary Poppins?
I've seen the second one.
How can you... We're watching Mary Poppins.
I don't.
That's impossible. It's a masterpiece. You will.
Mary Poppins
okay.
is great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Sound of Music. I haven't seen Mary Poppins.
God.
Christopher Plummer.
I'm actually lying. I think I saw them as a kid. I just don't remember. I mean, I think I have seen them, but I was so little and I didn't know
English.
English.
Speak English, so yeah.
So I think it's just kind of like
you will laugh, you will cry, you will love both of those movies.
I like The Wizard of Oz. That was a better movie.
How can you say it's better if you haven't seen the other two?
Because it's actually no, I have seen it. I saw them as kids. They just didn't
stick with you.
Like they didn't pull me in. Like
you're an adult now, and
Wizard
you
of
speak
Oz
the language now.
The Muppet movie, that was great when I saw it as a kid. The Muppets go to Manhattan or take over Manhattan or whatever it was back in the day.
I think you should try. This is a side note. I think you should try Mary Poppins as an adult.
I did like the sequel.
Truly
so
movie.
I went with Stephanie.
The sequel is terrible compared to the original.
It is terrible.
But I liked it. Because I really
haven't seen the original.
Because I really like what's her face?
Emily Blunt.
I love Emily Blunt.
How cute are John Krasinski and Emily Blunt?
I don't know. They're gonna be Fantastic Four soon, so we'll see how that goes.
That's
They're
true.
gonna be married in a fictional comic world and in real life.
So back to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. There's not a lot of there is a lot of Mr. Rogers in this, but that's not the main focus. That's not the main character. He's not our protagonist. The journalist is the protagonist. What did you think of that?
I thought that was interesting, but I believe the film was mostly based off of essentially Mr. Rogers' impact on other people's lives.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what they were mostly trying to portray in this. And they did a really interesting way of doing it. Now, I don't know if I would say it was a good way of doing it, but it was
one way of doing it.
It was a little hallmarky for me.
Well, that's what I was expecting from the trailers.
Really?
I was like, well, Mr.
I wanted
there were so
Saving
many.
Mr. Banks Part 2, and that's not what I got.
Well, that's completely two different movies.
No, but it's Tom Hanks playing a beloved children's entertainer.
So I'm so confused. Is he in the majority of the movie or is he not?
He is in quite a bit of it.
He is, but he's not.
But he's not the main character, actually.
Because you're but you got to remember, like George said, he's never seen Mr. Rogers or you. Your introduction to Mr. Rogers is probably this journalist coming into this world. Because unless you're a lot older, I don't like 80s and 90s.
I wouldn't have minded it, but the protagonist in this movie is not very interesting.
He's just a journalist.
He's just your average, like, I'm tired of, my life is so hard. I don't like my family. It's hard to be a new dad. And then by the end, he learns to love his family. And it was not very interesting. It was a true story, and it was based on a real article in the New York Times, but it didn't make a very good movie. It probably made a very good journal article.
So wait, you don't like the movie?
It was okay.
I
don't want to watch it again.
I mean, I was nearly in tears in that movie.
Yeah,
like
that's what I hear. Everybody's crying in the last.
That was it was so, like it strikes you at such a deep emotional level, just because it shows how Mr. Rogers was trying to help people.
Kids
master
families,
They did
just
a really
everyone
good job
how
of
to
that.
master their emotions.
But that's what that's what I want to see. Somebody who grew up with Mr. Rogers. The whole point of Mr. Rogers was parents didn't show children how to have emotions or how to control emotions or how to display emotions and what is healthy emotion and what's not.
Watch Inside Out.
No, that's the thing. Like, as someone who grew up watching Mr. Rogers, Mr. Rogers was the first one to say it's okay to be angry and get upset. Yeah. But at the same time, and this is just my memories of as a kid. I haven't seen the movie. But he would go like, everybody gets angry, we all get frustrated, we all have sadness, happiness, we cry, we laugh, we get angry. And like, what's a good, healthy balance of being upset or being sad and what is not? Right. And parents didn't teach that.
No, the baby boomers didn't know that and they didn't teach it. So they all grew up, with war parents who fought in a war and were tough.
And shoved down your emotions.
Yes, exactly.
And don't bother the older, so
Thank you, boomer. Okay, boomer.
So my only concern is that part of the movie? Because if that's
yes,
not
that is
part
part
of
of
the
the
movie, I'm not
movie.
gonna watch it.
central plot of
That
this
is
movie.
the majority of
That
it.
makes it a good movie
You
because
will love it.
that's what it's about.
But it doesn't.
like
it
it.
doesn't originally show it as being that.
The first
but it does.
half hour, you're like, "Where's Mr. Rogers? Get to Mr. Rogers. I don't care about this guy."
That's
It
true.
brings it back around, but I would have liked this to be solely focused on Mr. Rogers, and that's not what I got. But the parts that are focused on Mr. Rogers are really, really good.
Okay.
Once again, since they were trying to portray it as just basically like how he affected other people's lives,
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that they really did use like someone who knew him, but didn't. He wasn't let's say a kind person.
Really?
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers. Oh, the journalist.
No, the journalist.
Okay.
The journalist, and really showing how, like he lots of times he tried to get Mr. Rogers to kind of go over the edge.
Actually, that's as a person who watched Mr. Rogers, I always wondered like if I was in a room with him, I tried to annoy him
Yep,
to
and
get him upset.
That's
basically
exactly what he does.
in this
And
movie.
that's true to what most people probably tried to do because he was such a wholesome, level-headed guy, and a lot had to go to his faith. Like his Christian faith had a lot to play in with.
Don't put a lot of that into
Of
this
course
movie.
not. It's Hollywood.
I
Why
know.
would
Well,
they?
they didn't
They-
put a whole lot, but
they
they
showed a little.
do mention that he prayed for people
Yeah.
by name.
And they show him reading the Bible and praying for a split second, which was good that they put that in the movie.
But that's not the focus. He's not sitting in Mr. Rogers' TV show reading the Bible or quoting the Bible. He's not.
That's true.
But in the background, that is the thing.
foundation.
His
for
foundation
it.
of
Yes.
loving people and being patient
Yes.
and like being a good representation of who a Christian Jesus-like figure would be to children and to families. I think Mr. Rogers probably should be up there with C.S. Lewis. I don't know why he's not.
He is.
You think so? Because
Yeah.
I don't think so.
He hasn't had as much time to become set into
That's-
our culture as C.S. Lewis, but there's
Yeah.
been 2 movies made about him this year, or this year and last year.
Documentary and
A documentary, yeah. I mean, he's always in the holy trinity of wholesomeness.
Yeah.
With it's Bob Ross and it's Mr. Rogers and it's the Reaving Rainbow guy.
Oh, see,
And,
that's another one.
The alligator
Yeah.
guy, the crocodile hunter.
Steve
Irwin.
Steve Irwin.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Steve Irwin.
But his kids are doing a pretty good
His
job of
kids are
representing. They're
awesome.
killing it.
Yeah, one's a photographer and the other one's running a zoo, and they're awesome.
So I mean, okay. So here's my question.
Anyway,
Because I don't want to keep this too long, because I think like you guys got the meat of it. How is Tom Hanks acting and representation?
he's
of
dead
Miss
on.
Rogers?
I think he killed
He's
it.
really good.
10 out of 10?
I would say
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
10
8
out of 10 when he was Disney, but 9 out of 10 for this one.
I would have to say the thing with this is that it's almost like he plays a little bit smoother than even Mr. Rogers was.
Yeah, he's
So because of that, like almost like even more, like even calmer maybe than Mr. Rogers did, which that's the only thing I can say that would be kind of like against like how good he did for acting. Other than that, he was absolutely phenomenal.
yeah, he's really good.
So go see it in theaters.
If you like Mr. Rogers, yes.
Yeah, this would be one that like you could literally take like this is like one for
Anyone. with
anyone,
family, so I don't
anyone,
think so.
family.
Well, it did come out on Thanksgiving, so I
Yeah.
feel like their
Yeah.
target was like, hey, either we're seeing Mr. Rogers or Frozen 2.
Yeah. Well, it's one that like even it would affect even the adults.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
my parents both love this movie. If you have a mom, your mom is gonna love this movie.
I
My
think
mom
everybody
did.
just.
Your mom did.
I think everybody's like somebody
My
said
mom
this.
did.
I think New York Times came out with an article like a year ago that said like who should be like because of the Me Too movement, a lot of men who we looked up to came out as predators and sexual, all that stuff. And it's like, who do we look up to be who's a good role model? And New York Times said Mr. Rogers
Oh yeah, Mr. Rogers.
Oh, yeah.
is what a good male adult should be. Like if you had to be like, not that you have to be Mr. Rogers.
I think it's a
but-
spectrum, but I definitely think he's on that spectrum.
Yeah. And I think that's a really key thing to kind of like focus in on, because like.
But Mr. Rogers is probably not going to be the one to fight the war if the Nazis come in. You know what I mean? Like
Mr. Rogers was Mr. Rogers was a general.
He was?
Yeah.
What?
No, you're kidding.
Watch it on YouTube. He goes to the Supreme Court and asks for money for his TV show, and he's wearing all the medals from war.
Wow.
From the Vietnam War or the Korean War.
Well, that makes him even more impressive, because imagine the PTSD.
I remember him just simply wearing a suit.
He was a sergeant, or he was
I thought he was only wearing a suit on that.
Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
Yeah,
so I'm not gonna say, but that's what I remember is he was in military.
I don't think you
one of the funny things in it was actually that they asked him, were you a sharpshooter? Were you Navy SEAL? And he's like, no.
Oh, they said that in the movie?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
And yeah, so I really don't. No, I don't think he was.
There's some scenes where it almost goes too far, and I felt like it made Mr. Rogers seem almost like a psychopath for a second. Like there's a part where he has a puppet, and he's making the puppet talk, and he won't acknowledge the guy himself. He's only talking through this puppet, and then off camera the producer is like, Mr. Rogers is the puppet, and the puppet is Mr. Rogers, and you're just like, what? Am I missing something here? Like, this is kind of weird. And I saw what they were trying to do, but I feel like they just maybe pushed it a little too hard.
Maybe so. But at the same time, I think they were just trying to portray that he tried to fully go into character when he was playing a puppet.
Yeah, that's true.
And maybe that's what they were trying to get at. But yeah, they did.
They definitely got that across.
Yeah.
So apparently, there's a rumor that started with Mr. Rogers that he was an ex-Navy SEAL and a sniper. That a lot of people there was like a chain. There was a chain email saying Mr. Rogers was in the military.
Oh, if it's in chain email, it's got to be true.
Yeah, so it's false. He actually did try to join the Navy SEAL. They did say that he tried to enlist, but he was too old. That too, but he was also too old to enlist.
They
actually denied him.
We don't think you would hurt anyone. You would just talk
all of them. That is actually one of the things is that as a Navy SEAL, you actually have to be able to kill someone.
He just tried to join the Navy, not the Navy SEAL.
Okay, I was gonna say because Navy SEAls, you are required to be able to do that.
And I don't think Mr. Rogers
he did sign up though.
Okay.
And he did want to join military, and when they denied him, he went to ministry school for Presbyterian Church and became got his divinity degree actually instead. And then from there, his aspirations was to become a pastor, minister of some form, but that didn't work out somehow, or he just changed his mind and became a children television program person. But yeah, like that's my bad. It's not. It's just a rumor that everybody believes. It's not actually. Bob Ross is the one that actually went to the military.
That makes more sense.
Bob Ross was a screaming general.
Really?
He would be the one to like come into your face and call you all kinds of swear words and like racist things to you to get you Bob Ross.
And the guy who raises squirrels in his basement? No.
Yeah, and then he quit. He's like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. I want the opposite of this, so I'm going to go paint.
Wow.
Happy trees. Happy little trees.
Yeah, and he never screamed again. It actually, they said like after he left, he stopped screaming. Like he never screamed ever again after that, which kind of makes sense. It's kind of like when you're a general in the military and you're training whatever have you, like you have to have that kind of persona where you scream and yell and bully people to get them to like become stronger or train them in tough situations.
Yeah.
But yeah, he left that after years of doing it. He was a sergeant or a general or something like that. So that's who I was thinking of.
Okay.
But long story short, Mr. Rogers, yes, like he is wholesome and he is somebody.
Yeah.
Like there's few males to date that I can say like who is, like,
good example.
Next dad who's like got some kind of weird like sexual thing going on, like in Hollywood or like whatever athlete. And I think Mr. Rogers is one. And today I would say The Rock. The Rock is
exactly what I was thinking. Hanks. And Terry Crews.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah. Tom Hanks. Yeah.
Steve Carell.
Will Smith.
Yep.
Will Smith for sure.
Steve Carell's a good guy. Yeah.
Steve Carell. Yeah, but okay. The point is like, so you say wait for it to be on DVD or not?
Yeah, take your mom because your mom's gonna love this movie.
But okay, so like if you're taking your parents,
it's good. Yeah, it's a good one for parents for sure.
But if you're just gonna watch it yourself, I'd say Netflix.
That's
Oh,
yeah.
sweet. All right.
That makes sense.
I think we can
Let's
move
see
on.
what's next.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Knives Out.
So
I'm so excited.
me and George did our review in your truck, of course, and
Mm-hmm.
got to do a non-spoiler review.
Oh,
My small thing is it was hyped up way too much. It isn't the best movie of the year, even though
I
people
wouldn't
claim
say
it to be.
I wouldn't say it's
But I
best
still love
movie.
it.
I would actually have to say like I did in the review, the first 10 minutes or so of it, I really could have done without him.
I'm trying to fix the curtain.
All right, due to technical
Sorry.
difficulties, this might be cut out, and I might have to edit it.
Ooh.
Okay, repeat that. Sorry, George.
Okay, so honestly, you could do without the first 10 minutes of it, in my opinion.
I said that
Because-
I did say the same thing, but I do
It
think
started
that
slow.
it started really slow.
The problem is that they started out with a cliche kind of starting for any mystery movie.
Well, that's what
Somebody
they
uninvolved.
They had to do that.
Mislead
Well,
you, I think.
no, they didn't
Who
really
done it?
have to do it. Somebody uninvolved always walks in, usually holding a tray of something. They like every freaking
yeah.
time.
I thought they
It's
were
so
trying to make it super
horrible.
cliche for
No, they were. They
for
were.
fun.
Yeah, they
I
were
thought
doing
maybe
Gordon
so,
Road,
but
what's her face? There's those Oriental Express or whatever it is. She's the famous writer. They were Clue. They were doing throwbacks to those movies.
Yeah.
They were doing it on purpose.
maybe so, but
oh yeah,
I
they're
mean,
doing it
like
on purpose. I thought it was a good
everything
opening.
else
I
about
thought
the
it was a good
movie
opening.
was great, but I could not stand that part of it. I
Really?
mean,
The
like it
only
was
part I
so
didn't-
cliche. It was
The only
horrible.
part I didn't like is when she's like just sitting in the kitchen, and her sister is watching some like weird like CSI Law and Order episode, and her mom's like, "Turn it off." I'm like, this could have been entirely cut out.
Could have cut that scene. Yeah, the
Entirely.
sister
Honestly,
never shows
that was-
up again.
Because
That's
it would have
true.
been more of a mystery if, like, you learned that her mom's an illegal immigrant. And,
Well,
like,
you
all
already
that
knew it
stuff.
by that point.
Right.
Well, you do, because
yeah.
it's the first. But that could have been something that could have been
Been
spoiler
revealed
and a reveal later.
Yeah.
But they didn't do it that way, and I'm like, that's because it would have been cooler to see. That
I
all
think that
take
they
place
could have
backstory on her.
utilized. They could
Well, I
have.
think
Go ahead.
that one scene right there, actually, I didn't have an issue with that simply because they were trying to show like just how much stress was happening to the nurse. So basically, like even at home, she's hearing about murders and like accidental or like purposely killing people. And like just adding to her stress, her burden of
It could've-
trying to get
You
through
know
this.
what? It also because Marta stops and says, "It's okay. You can watch your show. It's fine." That could be. It could go either way. Like she's trying to prove that she's innocent, or she's trying to cover up that she's not innocent. Like you could take that comment either way.
Mhm.
I thought that was what they were trying to do.
I mean, I don't think it added or took anything away from the movie.
You could have put it later in the movie, where when everybody comes in. Maybe originally it was supposed to be when all the paparazzi comes around that she's seeing it.
Yeah, like
But it
maybe
was just a little
have
early.
them sitting in the kitchen and then like and then like they open the window and they're all right there and it's like, oh my god,
That could have worked.
that would have worked better. But again, the shaky beginning does not take away from the entire movie because I do think the interviews,
No, it didn't.
though they were slow, they had a purpose.
Slow,
They did.
and I think that they underutilized their entire cast. I don't know if it was for budget reasons. They couldn't afford to keep everyone for longer than 5
Clue
minutes.
in a lot of those movies, you get these weird interviews with people who you suspect, but they don't turn out to be suspects.
Yeah.
But they're these wacky characters, and they
That's true.
Yes,
who done
exactly.
it kind of.
I
so
love Clue. It's one of
that's
my
why they
favorite
all
movies.
joined the cast is because of that reason. They wanted
Yeah.
to play one of those, and they wanted to play the family member where you as an audience think, well, could it be Jamie Lee Curtis? Could it be the guy who's the
Hannah Baker from
Yeah.
13 Reasons Why.
Who's that?
Remember 13
She didn't
Reasons
actually
Why?
even get.
She
Oh
got,
no,
like,
she did
4
get
lines in it.
interviewed, but that was like, yeah, literally it
Wait,
was.
who's she?
Hannah Baker from the.
I've never seen 13 Reasons Why. But
She's
who
the
is she in
main
movie?
character.
What?
In 13
Not
Reasons
the-
Why, she's the main character.
And yeah, and
But
that
who is
she's the
she
main
in the
character.
movie?
She's the
She's
young
the one girl
girlfriend.
who's friends with Marta and
The college girl who
Yes.
needs
And
money for
Fran.
college.
Yes.
Because her mom. Okay.
She's
That's-
a very talented actress. She keeps getting killed off in these movies and shows.
I mean, she had a part. Everybody had a part to play
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
movie. Like, I like the setup of the husband who's trying to cheating on his wife, so he leaves this letter for his daughter.
That was fun. I knew immediately that was a lemon juice thing. I knew immediately.
Oh, sorry. We're in spoiler reviews right now. I just realized we're talking about spoilers.
We're gonna put that in the. We'll put it on the description.
We'll put it on the phone. Yeah. But I like that. I like the fact that the main character can't lie, because if she lies, she has she could throw.
She throws. I found that a little unbelievable, but
that's why it was so great.
It did add to the movie.
The part where I had the worst problem with that was actually at the very end, even though that was kind of necessary at the very end.
I thought it was hilarious.
It was, but like the second time watching that, I was like, wait a minute, because I was like mentally, I was just kind of counting in my head how long it took her to throw up each time.
Yeah.
That time she waited like a half a minute.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this isn't right.
I saw an interview with Chris Evans, who plays Captain America, and somebody brought it up in the interview. Like, what was that thing they threw on you, like, when she threw up? It's like fish guts. They used fish guts.
It looked very real,
yeah,
too.
Like, it looks real, but it smells terrible, too, he said.
Oh, no.
And they got the right response from the characters when she throws up, too.
Oh, no.
But it makes sense, because it's like he's diabolical. He is disgusting.
I have had people throw up in my face, mostly like 2-year-olds. But
that's different.
It's like a full-grown 2-year-old eating solid food, throwing up in your face is not fun.
Did you throw up?
No.
Oh, okay.
I got so used to it because I worked in a pool, so the kids would swallow all the water and then they'd throw it up on me.
Yeah.
It happened like 3 times a day.
Wow, that's crazy.
But like, I can smell it. When talking about it.
Yeah, I like her the most because right when she realizes she gave the wrong meds, even though later you find out it was the right meds.
I knew that was going to be the case. As soon as they were explaining what happened, I was like, okay, they couldn't possibly make her do this. She's going to find out that she did give him the right dose after all, one way or another.
One of the other things that I noticed at least was that he didn't have any symptoms.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
I did wonder about that because it's like it was already like 6-7 minutes in. It should have hit his bloodstream by then.
Right.
He had it by IV. He should have been losing it.
Right.
And he was still fully conscious, able to it was like, no, that's not quite right.
10 minutes before
10 minutes and
it was on minute 6 and he was fine. So he should have been.
No, it was over that. It was like 6 minutes. He was almost at like 8 minutes by the time he finally slit his throat.
Yeah.
So it was like he should have been experiencing something at that point because it's not it's not like it just suddenly hits you at 10 minutes. It introduces itself to your bloodstream and you're gonna start feeling certain effects of it leading up to that. It's at 10 minutes you're just gone.
Right.
So he had no symptoms, and I'm like, oh, come on, please.
I really also like Daniel Craig in this movie because the first time I heard his accent, I'm like, I'm not feeling this.
Oh yeah,
and I just kept. I'm like, oh, this is working for. Ooh, this is actually. This is really. Working.
I would have to say by the time he was interviewing Marta.
I love
it. That was like by that point I was like this I can dig this accent
because he's so serious as James Bond in the 007 movies and to see him play this character I'm like I want a sequel with Daniel Craig as that detective solving mysteries. I want it so badly.
Yes. That would be really cool.
It's a donut inside of another donut.
That was so funny.
The song and he's got his earbuds in. Yeah.
Oh my God, he's so good.
Oh dear.
He was so great. I want to see him be a Sherlock Holmes.
Something I was wondering about was did that where Chris Evans is like, stop it with that Kentucky Fried Jowl.
Oh,
what are you?
What is
that? I was Kentucky
wondering.
Fried Chicken CSI.
CSI KFC is.
Yeah, CSI KFC.
CSI. Oh my God.
But yeah, he the one scene, right before he gets arrested, he's like, stop it with that. I think he says stop it with that Kentucky. He's like accent. Kentucky Fried Jowl shit. Is literally what he says. And then I was thinking about it, and it's like his reaction and just the way he almost sort of stuttered in that. I was wondering if that was just sort of he just did that. That might not have actually been even the script. I'm wondering.
Right. You know what part I was like? I went from liking the movie to I really fucking love this movie.
Yeah.
Was the part where they're reading the will, and the will is the entire like.
That was
house.
hilarious.
And then like I was like, oh, you forgot the last part. Like, who does the house go to? Oh, her.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh! I was like, absolutely yes.
I was loving Chris Evans' reaction to that at that point.
It was so good.
Followed by like the best part for me was like was when he says, maybe this is the best thing that's ever happened to you. And like, I just lost it.
It's the best thing that ever happened to all
It's
you
like,
people.
Yep.
Eat shit. Eat shit. Eat shit. Oh, you definitely
Don't
eat shit.
say that word in front of my son.
Oh my goodness. It's like, this
They're
is,
like,
and then
he's
they're all
18.
freaking out. It's like, and they're like all watching him, just saying like, this is probably the best thing that happened to you. And then like,
Yeah.
when he drives off with her in the car, it's like, I gotta say, I think this is the best thing that ever happened to this family. And the veers off, and they're all arguing and fighting. And then the ending, where she's just sitting on the top of the house with the coffee.
And
my house, my rules. And
Yeah.
she's just looking at all of them while sipping her
Wait,
coffee.
did it
Oh
say
my
that or
God.
did it say my house coffee rules? I think it said
Something like
coffee
that.
rules. Yeah.
My house,
but
my
yeah,
rules,
it was.
and coffee rules or something like that.
Yeah, it was. That
Oh
was
my-
hilarious.
The movie is. That movie has no right to be that good, yet it is
Yeah,
that
it
good.
was great. Thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Went and saw it by myself because I missed it when you guys saw it. But,
Oh, yeah.
I had a blast. It wasn't what the trailers promised. It
No,
wasn't,
not at all.
No.
Not what the trailers promised. I thought this was going to be a great ensemble comedy with all these, or not comedy, but mystery with all these great characters.
It was a great mystery.
It was.
Yeah.
but
It was just
is-
much better than the trailer even.
Yeah.
You
portrayed.
think it was better? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Much better because it looked much more serious during the trailer.
It
I
did
would have
look
to
more
say
serious,
because
and
it was
quite
like
funny.
yeah, I'm trying to think of a movie to compare it to, but I can't think of one right offhand.
There's a lot of good whodunit murder mysteries.
Clue.
Yeah, Clue's like a comedy, but it does have the
Murder on
similar
the
feel.
Oriental Express.
Yeah, okay, I need to see that one.
The
I feel like
Murder She Wrote is a lot like that.
It was like a good Agatha Christie novel.
The Agatha Christie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a good Sherlock Holmes, or
It was definitely quite a bit like Murder on the Orient Express, too,
It's
for sure.
a lot. Like you can tell he's like nodding to Agatha Christie.
Have either of you read a book called The Westing Game?
No.
I've heard of it though for some reason.
It's very good.
Maybe I
Maybe.
have.
If you liked this movie, go read the book The Westing Game, because it is a mansion. It's a murder mystery. It's a bunch of family members living in this giant hotel together, and then they find there's a will, and they have to compete in a game that the dead person left in order to get the money, and then there's a whole mystery around it. And
Really?
Yes, it reminded me a lot of this movie, and I was the whole time thinking, this is just like The Westing Game, which is one of my favorite books from when I was a kid.
That reminds me of. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I was
It's a
about ready to
comedy,
say
too.
that reminds me of The Ultimate Gift. But
I was forced to watch The Ultimate Gift like 17 times a week when I was a kid.
Oh,
I
no.
got so sick of it. My parents loved it, so they thought that making us watch it like every day was a good idea.
Why?
Back when we had like 4 DVDs, and it was like, do you want to watch Finding Nemo or The Ultimate Gift? And you were
Just
like,
go to
well,
Blockbuster, Mammoth Video,
yeah,
rent a movie.
well, I couldn't drive. I was like 10. But anyway, Ultimate Gift was a good movie the first time, and it got overplayed.
I'll give you that. I don't even know what it is, but okay.
It's a Christian movie. It's like a
It is.
Abigail
It is,
Breslin.
but it is a good one. It's like
It's probably the best of the Christian movies.
I would have to. I would
Really?
agree with that. It is the very
But it's
best,
still not
except
very
for
good.
maybe
it's still not that
except
good.
for maybe the Passion, just because that's
well,
like in a
that's
different,
a different realm.
whole different realm. Yeah,
Right,
because that's actually biblical.
Right.
But this one is
This is a movie I want to see again, but right now it is standing. It's not the best movie of the year for me, but it is in my top 5.
It's in my top 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Top 5 for me.
I would say top 5.
I think everybody should go see this movie. I don't know one person that's not gonna have a fun time.
That's true.
I mean, don't take children who are
Don't
like.
take your parents. Somebody brought
No, do take your parents.
Somebody brought a 4-year-old to this movie.
Why?
No.
That has it's called Knives Out, and it's a murder mystery.
There's not a lot of blood or like really
Well, yeah, but
horrific
it's
blood.
To be perfectly honest,
But they
like
didn't know that walking in.
How do you not know that?
And then
How
this
do you not know that
4-year-old
he's
kid
dead?
was bored out of
It's
his
not.
mind.
Well, yeah.
And he was screaming through the movie, so that kind of took me out of the film.
You know what was funny was that
That
there
happened
was
to me.
there
That
was a
happened to me
lady
in Frozen.
there was a lady
Frozen
there was
2,
a lady
Yeah,
next
but she
to
was
us
like 17 years old.
at one of the scenes. Actually, it's one of the scenes that's in the trailer, the one where the spider's crawling down Friend's face.
Oh yeah.
The lady next to us jumped and spilled all her popcorn.
Wait, really?
Yes.
I did not see that.
You didn't see that?
No.
It was right next to us.
I think I jumped
and
at
like,
that part too.
she was just like, and like I just saw it. It was like literally like one of those.
Where did that spider go when she took her like her body and like put it
Oh,
down?
it was just spiders just kind of crawl around.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And she just happened to have a spider on her just because of the place where she was at. It wasn't like the spider was going after her or anything. It was just
another point in this movie where they could have utilized their character better, because I completely forgot that Fran even existed, and then when she showed up,
Well,
I'm like, who the heck
that's
is
a good
that girl?
point.
where did she come from? And she only
I
has
had no idea who that was.
one line in the movie prior
Yeah.
to that,
That-
and it ends up being like a crucial line to the plot.
Right.
But you'd completely forget about her. They should have given her a couple of more scenes. I think
Right.
they could have put another half hour of the family in this movie, and I would have loved it.
That's true. I think the reason why I didn't understand who Friend was because the first time I actually got to watch the movie,
Yeah.
I didn't see her go and find. Well, I guess that proves that I was wrong about that. I didn't see her go and find who's the old man, Christopher Plummer. I forgot the name of his character, but anyways, when she goes and finds him dead.
Harlan?
Yes. When she goes and finds him dead, like I missed that entire part, so I really didn't know who on earth she was.
Okay.
Coming into it.
Right.
Oh,
But-
yeah, wasn't she the maid?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
Yep.
was.
Yeah,
When you
I
said the
was
maid and
totally
nurse, I was
lost,
like, aren't they the same person? I was like, no, one's a maid, one's a nurse.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Don't remember it at all. But that makes yeah. They could have done a better setup for her.
They could have set up all of the other family member characters.
Not really.
better.
I think they did their part. They did their
Yeah.
part enough, but the movie is about this girl, her
Yeah.
relationship to him leaving the will for him, and then
That's
Captain
what the movie's
America
about, yeah.
literally taking the movie over the second half to become the
Yeah.
villain
Yeah.
with James Bond.
And what you get is great. It's very good. It just wasn't
Yeah.
for
quite
2
what-
hours. It's exactly what
It
you
is.
need.
It's exactly
enough.
what you need.
Now,
I
if
know-
this was a miniseries like Stranger Things, we could have done one character episodes for them.
Oh yeah.
But this is not what this is. This is a
No.
movie, and each character did get enough time where you knew their motives. Like
you did know their
the
motives.
older son was like,
What?
"Oh, I want to I'm the writer. Why won't you let us have Netflix rights and movie rights to make more money?" And he's like, "Well, I'm taking that away
and then
from
one
you."
house having an affair.
One was
the
having
other
an
one-
affair.
Yeah.
The other
Oh,
one was
this college
stealing money.
girl needed money.
Yeah.
One was stealing money. Like all of that stuff was enough for me to be like, "Who done it?" Where I was like, "Oh, it could have been."
It could have been any of
Yeah.
them, but
Right.
Yeah.
I think they gave away the fact that Marta thought she killed the guy a little too early, and they could have pushed that
Yeah.
20, 30 more minutes later into the film.
But it's over 2 hours at least.
I'm saying they could have rearranged some stuff, because we get backstory on the other characters later when we could have used it earlier to help us piece together this plot. But they give away Marta's thing, and then you're like, oh,
Right at the
well,
start, nearly.
Well, that's the end of
'Cause
the
it's-
movie. And
yeah,
then there's
it's right
another
in the
3
interview.
hours left in the movie. So you're like, obviously she didn't do it, but you
Oh, I
just
didn't
told
think
us
about
that she
It didn't really
did.
bother me. Yeah. Well, the thing is,
It was a pacing
because
issue.
you think she did it by accident the whole movie until the very end. Even though I was like,
That's true.
There's another-
Yeah, so it
That is
almost
true.
like builds it up more.
Yeah.
Either
Yeah.
should have shown
Twist.
it earlier
the twist.
or shown it later, but I think the
But
timing was a little
But
off.
that was perfect because she can't lie because she'll throw up, even though she did it, and now she has to work with
Yeah.
this detective
So basically,
and tell
yeah,
the truth.
you're
they
right.
had to explain why her just saying something that seemed really normal in regards to what happened that night.
Yeah.
How she got away with saying that if she threw up while telling the truth. And so
Right,
that's I
right.
think
Yeah.
why they had to then put basically the actual story into it at that point.
Right.
I had a blast watching her follow this detective around, who clearly knows that she had something to do with it, but she
Okay,
doesn't know that.
Nobody step on the mud. She's like, huh? No, don't come back. Don't come back.
Did
What?
you say? What?
the dogs are here.
Yes.
I thought it was so funny how the detectives, the other two detectives, they're like still trying to be cautious after all that trampling.
Yeah.
And it was just like completely useless.
I love when the detective goes like, okay, we gotta drive up to the house and you gotta admit it to the family, and she finally comes back after and then she's about to say it, and he's like, well, you guys have just been terrible to her.
That was so
and,
funny.
You should all feel bad. And she's like, wait, I thought I was supposed. And he's just kind of like, wait
what?
for it. And then the black detective's like, what are we doing here? We already know. It's like, no, whoever comes through that door is the real. And he's like all like kind of working through it. It's Captain America and like all this stuff. Oh, so good.
Yeah, so good. They did kill it on that part, yeah.
Alright, I think that's all we can really talk about. We should really come to a close because we gotta do other reviews.
Knives Out was great. Go see it in theaters.
Yes.
We should have a rating where it says golden review, like our trio golden review, which is like we all say go see it, and this is how I want to do it.
This is one.
This is the one where it said like golden. This is our golden recommendation.
Yeah,
go see it now.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, we loved it.
All right, so next we gotta move on to what do we got there?
We've got some Star Wars to talk about.
All right.
So I was forced to watch Force Awakens.
You were forced to watch Force
and
Awakens.
I stayed awake for the whole Force Awakens.
Well, I think I'm still shocked you hadn't seen it because
I know I was
more
behind
girls than guys loved. I love Star Wars anyway, but girls really are attached to this trilogy.
I knew that I would like it, but I thought if I don't watch the 6 movies that are leading up to this, I'll never understand it. I haven't seen those other 6 movies in like a decade, so I'm way behind.
Most people.
But then you told me, okay, you can go into this with no prior knowledge of Star Wars and be fine. So I did, and I have some knowledge of Star Wars, and I liked it. I thought that the girl actress did a really, really good job.
The characters in Force Awakens are really like very likable, very interesting personalities that are like kind of mixed together. Force Awakens is one of those movies. I think I saw Force Awakens 3 times.
I tried to watch this 2 or 3 times and I fell asleep every time. So because you told me I had to watch it, I stayed awake for it.
And then you were thankful you did.
And I was thankful I did by the end. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Because it's her character in the snow fight where she just whoops his ass. Yeah. Kylo Ren's, where she is just like holds the lightsaber. She's just figures out the Force all on her own and was like, I'm gonna whoop you, and just goes bananas on him. To be fair, he was shot by Chewbacca, so he was bleeding from the chest while fighting her.
Chewie was so cute in this movie. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's like whimpering over his cut on his paw, and they're all like pampering him.
That scene is great. I forgot about that.
He's like,
yeah, like Force Awakens is one of those movies because I hated the prequel. I hate the strong word. I just didn't. They didn't do anything for me. The prequels are just whatever to me.
Okay, I love Phantom Menace. I know I stand alone on that. But I think Phantom Menace is probably my favorite Star Wars movie, just because Anakin is so freaking cute.
That's true.
He's adorable, and it's an easier plot to follow than the other movies. It's the one that I've seen the most times, and it's good. It's a good movie. Yeah, minus Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, there we go.
That's my problem. If I could fast forward all of Jar Jar Binks from
somebody made an edit of it. There was a streaming service.
Oh really?
That made an edit of Phantom Menace with no Jar Jar Binks.
That sounds weird because he's part of a plot that needs to be there as well.
But you already know the plot, so you just
skip it.
Yeah.
Skip
Somebody
Jar Jar.
made that.
That's weird.
That is weird.
I can't do that.
What if they just replaced him?
Well, you notice that in the second and third movie, he's just barely in it. He has like 1 or 2 lines in Attack of the Clones.
Awful. But I also grew up with the
I did like
Star Wars
Attack of the Clones,
Episode 1 Lego.
Mostly the action.
Yeah.
And the starship things that they fly around in. What are those called? The pods.
Wait, which one? Episode 1?
Yeah, where they have the pod racers.
The pod racing? And Lego Star Wars?
Lego Star Wars. It was
amazing. Absolutely love that.
As a kid, the pod racing scene was epic.
Awesome.
And the fight with Darth Maul with the 2 double lightsabers.
That was
the music.
Oh my goodness.
It is pure Star Wars at that point.
It is.
I was like, there's moments in this movie that are
awesome.
great.
The Sith was a better villain than Snoke or whatever his name is. Snoke. Really? Who named him?
Snoke.
Who named him? Okay, they're just taking off.
I love that scene though, where
they both turn. Let's
slow down. Let's slow down.
Yes.
Dumbledore.
The Force
That's
Awakens.
that's the next
What
movie.
is your rating for Force Awakens? Out of 10.
7 out of 10.
That's pretty good. I would say 7 or 8 myself too. With
Okay.
like Empire Strikes Back being like 10 out of 10. Revenge of the Sith being like 9 out of 10 for me. I really put highly up
them
there.
all apart, honestly.
It doesn't matter. But like I'm just like for me, Revenge of the Sith and Empire Strikes Back are like the gold standards of what like Revenge of the Sith prequels gold standard. Like you know, and then Empire Strikes Back, the moment like that movie is just so well put together. With like Luke learning that Darth Vader is his father, and then like the last words Luke says in Empire Strikes Back is, Obi-Wan, why didn't you tell me he was my father? And then it just that's how it closes the movie. And it's so good. Yeah. It's so good. Yeah. So for me, like I would put it like 8. Like Force Awakens is a good 8 for me. While The Last Jedi is like 7.
See, I liked The Last Jedi better.
I think well, that's okay.
I liked it better. I feel like it had a more gravity to the plot. I didn't like who's the Asian girl?
I didn't like Yoda in that.
He
Shockingly,
was in it for 5 minutes.
That's the problem.
He just comes back as a ghost.
He comes back as
Luke
a
Skywalker.
ghost. Okay, he was funny.
Luke.
He was funny. I will give you that. But just he didn't seem like Yoda.
Yeah.
There was nothing Yoda about him.
They were too busy working
except his comedy. So
I'm going to The Last Jedi. We gotta stick to Force Awakens. Just get rid of that.
Both of them on here.
No, I know, and then we can transition. Yeah. What is it about Force Awakens that really worked for you?
Honestly, they're kind of blending in to two movies.
It is one movie.
It is one movie,
but just like you know, the ending Han Solo, then the fight with Kylo Ren in the snow.
Yeah, that was the best part.
Yeah. Okay.
The girl seeing a girl Jedi was just cool. It was cool.
It happened in the cartoon, but it never happened in live action. So
Princess Leia's a good character.
Huh?
Shakti.
But
she was in.
Yeah.
I mean, they did. Yeah, Shakti was in episode 3.
No, but she was, but she doesn't like. There's movie,
not a girl Jedi.
Oh, well, not like a main character one, correct?
Like Rey needed to happen. Like
I
think at this
absolutely.
point,
badass.
Like you know, and everybody thought it was gonna be Finn who was gonna be the. Because they thought they were gonna go before it came out.
Oh yeah.
People thought Finn
was
gonna be the Jedi.
I do remember that being like
one of the things.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it wasn't where it was hidden. And Disney did such a good job hiding it that I was shocked that it was Rey. Like watching it, I'm like, what?
Did you guys notice the love triangle that they had?
Yeah, of course.
So it's usually 2 guys and a girl. Love triangle, which like okay, I don't care. Pick Jacob. I don't care.
She's gonna pick Kylo. I just know it.
I know, but I liked seeing a love triangle where it was a guy with 2 girls. I don't think I've seen that very often.
Guy with 2 girls?
Yeah, it was Poe and what's the Asian chick?
Oh, see, that's one thing that I disagree with a lot of people because they say like, oh, it's a triangle. It's like he doesn't like her. She literally was like, I like you. I worship you because you're a hero from Force Awakens. Here's a peck kiss, and he's just like confused. He's like, "What?" He just looks at her like, "What?"
They're trying to do, you know, Team
Edward,
Team Jacob, but she was not very likable in this movie. I'm not saying the actress isn't good, but I don't think they didn't like give her a good costume and a good haircut and a good. They kind of made her like kind of annoying.
But that's why it makes sense because she is not a Jedi. She is not some She's a mechanic.
Yeah, that's true.
Who like looks up to Jedis and like.
If you're trying to set up a love triangle,
and her sister,
she wasn't a very appealing character to set up a love triangle.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think Finn
that's what they're trying to do.
No,
she's like, "Oh, I'm in love with you."
He literally stares at her when she kisses him, like, "What are you doing?" Like, I don't like you.
And then he runs back to
Rey,
the girl one.
Yeah,
the girl Jedi.
And I think Rey
they had
is
such better chemistry.
I think the Asian girls like Finn. Finn likes Rey.
Yeah.
Rey likes
Kylo.
Asian
if Kylo wasn't evil, which I don't know what that
was.
Square.
There's also like almost kind of like a bromance too going on between Finn and who's the one fighter pilot?
Poe. I love Poe.
Yeah.
I love Poe so much.
Yeah.
I think he's just such a great
I thought
he was dead.
Only thing
he comes back in Force Awakens at the end going, "Where's my droid?"
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
You must have missed that.
I must have.
Because it's like Finn's like, Poe, you're alive. It's like, yeah, where's my droid? And he's like looking for BB-8.
Okay, all right.
He's a good fighter pilot. He does his job really well for who he is.
But they started okay, hang on. I gotta wait till the next movie. No.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
let's go on to Last Jedi. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
Yeah.
you
so
would say
there we go.
A
Last
7 out of 10.
Jedi.
7 out of 10.
Okay, Force Awakens, 7 out of 10.
I would say the same.
I'd say
Yes.
8, but it's kind of similar. All right, Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Let's
I thought
talk
was
about
better.
let's talk about the
this
big.
this is what I was getting to. Okay, so the very beginning, I couldn't stand.
What
It
happened
makes
I
sense.
at the
couldn't
very
stand
beginning?
so bad.
When
it was
Rey
horrible.
like gives him the lightsaber, and then Luke Skywalker looks
No,
at
it was-
and
When he
tosses
throws it over his shoulder?
It was
'Cause that's what
no,
everybody talks about.
the very, very, very beginning.
What's
So the
the other
opening
beginning?
scene, the opening scene
The
with
bomber?
the bomber.
Oh yeah, that
And
doesn't make any
that
sense.
was horrible. That
But
was
see,
horrible. The
that's-
comedy was terrible. That
What
was
comedy? What are
just
you talking about?
where they're
The bombers? There was
yeah,
no
where
comedy.
he's over there like, what are you
when
saying?
Poe's, like,
Poe's
trolling-
trying to troll him, and
It's like your
and
mom.
it's like, guys, this is great, but this, like, they're way too advanced to be having these kind of jokes in a movie
I mean,
that's
Star Wars always
Star Wars.
had jokes though, and corny jokes.
well, yeah, but
At the
not
same
that
time.
corny. That was
It's
that
corny.
was miserable.
C-3PO is God, and they're trying to like roast.
Okay,
Han Solo.
that was still funny though because they were
I
essentially.
mean, the joke might not work,
um,
but it does stay standard with the weird, corny jokes of Star Wars.
Oh,
Even though
okay.
you would, I agree with Jar Jar Binks, like another joke character that just
Yeah.
fell flat.
That's
you know?
true.
Right.
That's
So
true.
for me, it doesn't like again. It's not Jar Jar Binks bad, and it's very short. It's a scene where
That's
he's just
true.
trolling them so they can get the bombers to drop them. It's like a 2-minute scene, and he's just it's like he's just trying to keep them on the phone, just to distract them enough to get to the point where they can bomb them. So
Yeah.
Mm.
Have you ever noticed though something that's kind of strange with all of those spacecraft is that like whenever they got hit they would drop?
Oh.
Like
yeah,
did
they're
you
in
notice
outer
that?
space. They don't,
They're in
there's
outer
no
space
gravity.
and they get hit and suddenly their
Oh,
version of not
dude.
flying is they go and crash into the ship.
look, here's the thing about Star Wars, and you have to remember this: nothing in Star Wars in space makes sense.
That's true.
You can't have
That's true.
sound, so you can't have explosions.
That's true.
You can't have missiles and firing things because there can be no kind of fire without oxygen, and that shouldn't work. And
That's
third,
true.
the biggest one that a lot of people have a hard time understanding is when those bombers fell, like they do in World War II planes, they would float away. They wouldn't-
Exactly.
Like
That was the one issue I had.
If you
really.
have that issue, you should have that issue with Star Wars from the get-go. But because
But the Corellian
It's
never had that
fantasy.
issue.
which
There's-
one?
The Corellian never
People
had
can't
that issue.
What do you
move
mean
rocks
Corellian?
with
I
their
don't know what you're
minds
talking
either.
The Corellian. So episode 4, the very beginning of Star Wars, when they disable its engines, they have it basically they use their whatever tractor beam, whatever kind of thing they used to
Okay.
basically force it into
But
the loading
then
bay.
Luke fires into a hole, then makes the
Fire in the
moon,
hole.
the moon, whatever thing explode into. a
That's
big
still
explosion.
easier to believe than
And, like,
these
shooting lasers.
spacecraft just like
No, none of
gravitating
that
toward
physics-wise
that.
makes any sense. It just does.
It's fantasy.
Not. Yeah,
It's
That's
fantasy.
you
true.
have to. You
There's
can.
no
that's why I
Force.
prefer Star
There's no
Trek in
lightsabers.
certain aspects.
And Star Trek has the same thing: explosions and lasers and like explosions.
True.
So they.
But it's more realistic, at least, thankfully.
Is it
A realistic
Yeah.
space movie would be pretty
very
boring.
boring? Like 2001: Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Oh,
Add Astra. Like that's what you're gonna
Ad
get if you
Astra.
want.
gra-
if you
that was
want-
so boring.
Like you're gonna get those type of movies if you want
It's
real
gonna be a thing
physics.
floating around for 7 hours and
That's literally yeah.
Star
Like,
Wars
it
is
doesn't-
fantasy,
Yeah,
and it's in a galaxy
space
far,
opera.
far away. We don't know how their laws of gravity work.
I'll give
That
you
was
that. I
good.
never thought about that, but you're
It's
right.
a long, long time ago.
In a
Gravity
galaxy
might have
far,
still,
far
been,
away,
might have still had gravity in space.
Whatever.
Oh, maybe space wasn't a vacuum back then. It's a long, long time ago. Far, far away.
Okay, so what do you guys think of Luke abandoning?
Stupid. So stupid.
abandoning
The
what?
greatest Jedi ever, abandoning the Force and not
Like
using it
Obi-Wan
anymore.
and Yoda, just like every other great Jedi master.
All this
Stays
movie
true
did
to-
was it was a good movie,
Okay,
but it rehashed every
It has
single
to.
plot point from all the other movies. Why not come up with something new?
because you can't. Because you get to a point where you think
Oh
if I
no,
become
the
a
bad guy's gonna kill me, so I can become a ghost, and I'm gonna let him kill me. I've seen that 7 times.
Well, that's true to the mythology. You can't change.
Yeah,
the
but I
mythology.
don't want to watch
You know what? That's
the
a
same
good
movie
point.
again for
But
the
you're
7th
not.
time.
You're seeing
I am.
Rey.
You're seeing
Now
Rey
it's a
go
girl
through the
doing
same
it.
thing as Luke.
I want to see something new.
It was
I
literally
do have a problem
like a
with the tenth
rehash
scene
of episode 5.
where, like, yeah, I do have a problem with the tent scene just because Luke goes into the tent and looks into Kylo's head and sees like the dark side and almost kills and then decides not to, but then having Kylo wake up in that exact moment thinking he's gonna do it, and then that just throws him off. Like it's I do have
like,
it doesn't
Luke,
ruin
you
the
kinda
movie.
ruined your kid there, or whatever.
It doesn't
he
ruin
is.
the movie, but it ruins it enough where I'm like, this is just kind of weird. Like, you know what I mean? Luke does back off. He's not like, you know, Kylo. From Kylo's point of view, Luke was gonna kill him. From Luke's point of view, he was not. But yet they never rehashed it. It just kind of happened, and he just threw Luke and
it kind of justifies the bad guy's motives.
It does.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it
He's
explains
already-
why
You would do the same
why
thing.
he went to the dark side.
Yeah.
Really, because he was about to be killed by his master for
Yeah.
to him no reason
I
whatsoever.
need more power, yeah.
So
Yeah, I just like Luke in this movie because he's such a I'm old and I don't give a crap anymore kind of personality.
yeah, that was
Lightsaber.
awesome.
Yeah,
That was
and
funny.
just like
I think it's stupid. The
I
greatest
love-
Jedi who ever lived wouldn't abandon the Force. That was
He
the whole
didn't-
point of the last 6 movies.
But they did. Obi-Wan, Yoda, they all abandoned the Force at the end of their lives, even though they were great masters. And Yoda left and lived on a planet in the middle of nowhere with, like, vegetation. And Obi-Wan was in a desert for most of his life. So it does stay true to what Star Wars has done continuously.
Yeah.
It's
I
the
don't
pride.
I don't think it fit Luke's character.
I
He's Mr. Star Wars for
But he's
6
not-
movies.
no,
And then
he's
all
not.
of a
No,
sudden...
3 movies. 3 movies.
Luke
and
isn't
then
in the prequels.
Yeah, that's true. For 3 movies, the
he's in the
3 best
3rd.
movies.
He's in episode 3.
But he doesn't. But you gotta have a redeeming. You can't just have Luke just be perfect. You need conflict. You need
That's true.
character development, and that's what I like about Luke. He goes and kind of gives up because of what happened with Kylo. Anybody would. Anybody who like Leia's his sister.
Leia kept using the Force and all that.
She
whatnot.
kind of did. She knew
That
what
was-
She's kept fighting with the rebellion or
That
whatever.
Right,
was
but,
one
like,
of the
how
worst
do you-
scenes.
I get Luke's point of view because it's like, how do I face Han and Leia and tell them I tried to kill their son, my nephew, and yet I pushed him and I couldn't save him from the dark side. I get that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel that from Luke in the movie where it's like he does feel like I came here to die because I effed up. I effed up so badly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I can see that.
That
But then
basically he
he
failed. Essentially, by that point, he had failed at what he was trying to do with the entire new Jedi Academy.
And what Luke did for
Essentially.
Darth Vader,
Or
what
Jedi
Luke
Temple.
did for Obi-Wan, what Luke did for Yoda is the same thing Rey is doing for Luke.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's like, wake up.
It's the same movie again. I hope you like it because now we have 9 of them.
Oh no, it's not though, because that's the thing. Because what you have now is, like, what Luke did was very different than what Obi-Wan and Yoda did. Oh, Yoda, first of all, never entered the battlefield once in the old movies, in the original
That's true.
trilogy.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan doesn't really. He just came to die from Darth Vader, and like kind of ghost disappears. Luke actually goes to the planet, rescues everybody so they can escape, trolls Kylo, and then when Kylo figures out he's been a ghost the whole time,
He
Luke's
was a ghost
like,
that whole time.
he was the ghost
the whole movie.
time.
I
He
thought
was
he
on the
just
planet.
became a ghost when the guy bombed him at the end.
No. He was a ghost on the planet fighting Kylo, like on that planet, the desert
Oh,
salt
really?
red planet. Yep.
No,
And
basically
then-
a holograph.
Yeah, and then when Kylo tries to like hit him finally, and he
It
realizes
just
it's
goes
the
right
ghost,
through him.
he winks
Yeah.
at him and he goes, "See you later, kid." And I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, that was
That
awesome.
was a good line.
I was like, best Luke, and like Luke has such great lines, like where Rey's like training and he's like, he tells her to keep her eyes closed. It's like, can you feel it? I can feel the Force, and he hits her with the leaf pamphlet or whatever. It's like, ow! He's just like a big giant troll old man. He's just like
Yeah,
every
he is
old
funny.
man you know who's like lived his life and.
Well, he
doesn't
was
care what
kind of
anybody-
like Yoda in that aspect.
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
think
yeah.
about it, because Yoda did some things with Luke
That
when he was
very
training him that
much-
were
yeah.
were like that. They
I
were
love
really
it.
goofy things. It was awesome.
I wanted Luke, like for me, that's what I wanted Luke to be. I didn't
Yeah.
want him to be like, oh, I'm Master Luke, who's like you know, like some Star Wars fans are saying like Luke should be like some great epic, like
he is
Buddha
in
character
This movie. He is in this movie.
where he's perfect.
Mm.
And I'm like, no.
Perfect
no.
characters are boring characters.
Yeah, like
Absolutely.
having conflict, Luke be like old man who's just like given up his life and needs somebody to come into his life and bring light back, and Rey does. Rey rescues Luke, and it's like, well, if you're not gonna help, well, I'm gonna go. And this girl gets on the ship and leaves, and like Luke's like, and then Yoda's like, I have failed, and Yoda's like, yes, you have. You have now become a master of a Jedi, because every master Jedi before you fails, and they have to fail to humble themselves and to like rekindle that spirit inside of them to be like, it's not about me being perfect or having all the answers. It's me just making that decision to like keep moving forward, and that's what Luke does.
Yeah.
So
I absolutely love what happened to the tree. That
oh,
was
he's
so
just like,
funny.
he's like, I'm gonna burn it to the ground. And Yoda's like, oh, you are? Lightning, boom.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
nothing in there that's
He's like,
sacred
but the
text.
sacred text.
Have you read them?
he
No,
was-
but...
he's like, I was just kidding. And then Yoda's like, there's nothing in there that you could possibly teach. But did you see it? She put the books in the Millennium Falcon. If you
Oh,
go
she
back, it's a 2-second scene. But she stole the books,
Oh.
put it in the Millennium
So
Falcon,
the
and
books
fly
with
out.
The sacred texts
So
are saved.
yeah. And I think Yoda's just messing with Luke, just to like really. He didn't want to tell him, but he knew.
Yeah.
Yoda knew that she took the book, so he's like, I don't care. Let's burn the stupid tree for all I care.
That's too funny.
So, anyways, Last Jedi. What's your rating? Higher than Force Awakens? You
Yeah, it
said?
was 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Yes.
Mine would be like 8.59.
I was gonna say 5 out of 10 for me.
Really?
I was very disappointed with it simply because there were too many really cheesy scenes.
There were.
Way too many.
The
I mean,
casino scene, that
there
20-minute scene,
there
could
was-
just be
yeah.
completely taken out.
I already forgot
I
about
would
that scene.
say, I mean, there were good scenes to make up for it.
Yeah.
But to me, like having a bad scene in a movie,
Yeah.
like lowers it so much more than any good scenes can that it was a disaster for me.
So,
A disaster?
A
That
disaster.
bad?
I
Wow.
thought it was horrible.
5 out of 10, huh?
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. I know a lot of Star Wars fans do voice that opinion, but I'm in the go like, it's not as bad as the prequels. You can't change it. That's just how I see The Last Jedi.
That's true.
I think that
The Attack of
Well,
the Clones
hang
for
on.
me is the worst movie besides Han Solo. Han Solo.
really, because I actually
I
liked
hated.
I
Han
liked
Solo.
Attack of the Clones, and I loved Han Solo.
And those are
So
the two movies that I
that's
can't
like
stand.
I guess
They're like
that's
a
just
4
a weird.
or 3 for me. For Attack of the
Really?
Clones, like 3. Han Solo, like 4 or 5 for me.
Like for me, Han Solo, I would at least give that a 9.
But it doesn't make any sense, George.
It doesn't,
and that's why it's stupid.
While I don't agree with the character that they have for Han Solo,
that is a different character.
it is
that is
a
not Han
different
Solo.
character, but I absolutely love the movie despite that.
Really?
Yeah, even though it has almost nothing to do really with Han Solo, in my opinion.
So they made a movie called Solo. I don't know if you've heard of it or not.
I've heard of it.
And it's like a prequel to Harrison Ford's character. First of all,
It's
that kid is like 5'8". Harrison Ford's 6'2".
yeah,
He is?
Yeah, he's
and not only
tall.
that, like the entire, like just the whole attitude between the two of them is completely different.
Yep.
Harrison Ford has a very dry sense of humor, doesn't really
Gotta make a
laugh. He
movie
might
about Han
grin.
Solo. Make a
That
movie
kid
with
But-
was
Han Solo.
terrible.
But he was
Was it a straight to streaming movie?
No, it was in theaters.
yeah.
It's
And honestly, they
Why
even
didn't they just
they
make it
even
with
advertised
Harrison
it.
Ford?
This became a meme. They advertised it on Red Solo cups. Where the
Oh
Dan
my
Solo.
God.
It was.
That's so funny. But it's effective. We remember it.
Yep.
yeah. I mean, for me, it's like thing that pisses me off the most about Han Solo is there are things I like, but it doesn't make any sense. Like
That's
the whole
true.
pirate scene at the end, and like these pirates who are just kind of like bounty hunters, kind of like Mandalorian, and Darth Maul. It's really cool stuff. Has nothing to do with Solo. The scene with watching Chewbacca and him could have been great, and it's a good scene. But
Yeah.
before that, he's just running around these. You don't think you could have mentioned any, like, you had a lover who betrayed you and became a villain to, like, Leia in the original? Like, it's like, the more I think about it, the more I hate Solo because of it.
Well, I think it was just one of those points where well, believe it or not, that's actually one of the things I like about it was simply the fact that he did, and
But it
he
doesn't
realized, well, you know what, she's just going off doing her own thing, and that was it.
You can't have somebody that much of an impact and never bring it up. You just can't.
You can.
Can
It's
you?
possible. Yeah.
Even it's like such a, and there's nothing about it that made me think like.
Well, you have to think
this has
about it.
affected him in any way, shape, or form.
How many years later was it before he finally actually became the Han Solo in Episode 4? Because it was a decent. It would have had to have been a decent number of years. He wasn't like a really young guy in Episode 4. He would have been probably around 30s.
His 30s, yeah.
Yeah, 30s.
And he's like
so
in his early 20s.
early 20s, yeah. So
It's
he's
just-
had like
it
10 years. He's
just
had
doesn't
10
work
years
for
of
me.
smuggling,
No, I
of
know.
doing all. Like he
I
probably
get
has
what
an
they were trying to
insane
do.
amount of experience with just crazy stuff by that point. So
I get
yeah,
what they were trying to do, but his character's not the same. He doesn't
That's
look
true.
like Harrison Ford.
He
Nothing in
doesn't-
that movie works
yeah.
for me at all, besides the Chewbacca scene, which, again, if I take it out of context with everything else, that's cool. Like him meeting Chewbacca. And
that
like
was
them,
awesome.
but that's 10 minutes of like
Yeah.
a 2-hour movie, and that's not enough for me to like you could YouTube that. The 10-minute scene where he meets Chewbacca. And that would be that for me. And then like everything else is garbage. Him getting the Millennium Falcon from Lando.
That was funny.
Okay, I forgot about that scene too. So maybe 20-30 minutes where the movie's redeemed. Just them doing the whatever run.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it.
Well,
bring it up.
he also was just like, what? Maybe this was just something I liked about his character was that he was so optimistic about everything, which did not at all fit with the way Han Solo was. But the optimism, I couldn't help but like it.
I'm like, it's not the same character.
It wasn't the same
nobody
character, no.
is that significantly personality-wise changed. Like, I don't
That's
see
true.
Harrison Ford. I see somebody pretending to be Han Solo
Yeah,
Yeah.
why
And
didn't
that's
they
my
just have
issue.
Harrison Ford do it?
because he's like 80.
Why didn't they
And
make,
he's in his 20s.
Why didn't they make
Yeah.
a prequel to the movie he was just in, where we didn't know what had happened between then and?
Because Harrison Ford, the only reason he signed up to be in The Force Awakens is because he hates playing the character and wanted
He
to die.
does.
He wanted George Lucas to kill him in Empire Strikes Back, and George Lucas wouldn't do it.
You're kidding.
He wanted out of the contract. He wanted to go play Indiana Jones. He wanted to do everything else. He was sick of playing Han Solo, but because Han Solo was such a popular character, and like George Lucas didn't kill him because when he freezes, when he says Leia, it's like, you know when he says to Leia, like she's like, "I love you," and he's like, "I know," and then he goes into the carbon freeze or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, right.
He wanted to die. He wanted to be the end of that character, but they brought him back in Return of the Jedi because everybody like loves
Yeah,
Han
he's like
Solo.
one of the best characters ever.
So he actually originally did not want to come back, like in The Force Awakens or this new trilogy. He actually refused it, and it's like, what's gonna get me to come back? Like they were like, okay, we really need Han Solo in this movie.
Yeah.
What can we do to get you back? It's like, kill me. And they were like,
so they did.
If that's the only way he can come back, like yeah, like okay, like
that is too
you
funny.
don't have to be in The Last Jedi and The Rise of the Skywalker. We promise to kill you in Force Awakens, and you can wash your hands, never wanting to be in another Star Wars movie.
And
So-
that actually did add to Kylo Ren's character and made you think more so in the next movie afterwards.
It actually
that
works really well.
It works
in the
really
context
quite
of,
well. Yes.
Because, like, you know, the original George Lucas script for episode 7, 8, 9 was you had Leia's child. No, you had twins.
Yeah.
You had twins that were girl and boy who were really powerful with the Force. The only thing they change, and the boy becomes evil and the twin sister becomes good, and it's kind of like a yin-yang effect. They kept that storyline for episode 7, 8, 9 because Rey is still the same Rey, or the twin sister that would have been to Leia, and Kylo's still the dark one who goes to the dark side.
Yeah.
So those two spiritual characters still exist in the
Mhm.
context of these new movies, but they're not twins.
See,
from the
I
original.
think that they're gonna be related.
That's what everyone's thinking because
Yeah.
everyone's like, I've read George Lucas's script,
I didn't know that, but I still think that they're brother and sister.
so I'm like, but then it's
That-
just Luke and
I
Leia
feel
again.
like I
Well,
feel like
they
that
have
would be
that
a
connection.
miserable
I
ending.
don't. They're not gonna do that because that's Luke and Leia all over. They were twins, Luke and Leia,
True.
and you know.
Let's
they
face
learn
it,
much-
everybody
They've
wants to see a
rehashed
power couple
Every
at the end of this.
At the end of the day, I think it would be
Yeah.
better move for Rey to save Kylo, and he was almost there, and then he lost his freaking mind when they killed Snoke.
Yeah.
Like he's like, we just gotta burn everything. Like forget the past. It doesn't matter. Let's kill and burn everything, and then rule as Empress and Emperor of the galaxy. You know.
Mhm.
And Rey's like, yeah, no, dog, that's not happening.
Yeah.
You know. Did you remember that part in The Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Like with when they kill Snoke and he tries to kind of like convince. There's a little bit of a thing where it's kind of like you could tell she does feel a connection. Like there is a chemistry and a connection towards Kylo, and Kylo feels that with Rey, and Kylo really. So Rey wants him to be good really badly and join her, and Kylo wants her to be evil and join him, and that's that I think is actually
they kind of
more
want
interesting.
Yeah, they want to bring the other one into their world essentially.
Yeah.
And
the Last Jedi did some really cool things that they've never done before in Star Wars. The whole like them talking to one another while she's on the planet and he's in a ship, and they're having these conversations, and then when it's raining, he feels the rain. Like he's able to do that, like actually physically like be somewhere even though he's not, and that can become something where he can and then of course Luke Skywalker does it at the end where he's actually on the planet, but his body is still on the whatever other planet with the green island or whatever. All that stuff is, and I know you hated the purple lady, but her scene is so good where she goes
purple
light
hair
speed.
lady.
That scene is
what
amazing.
Else is she in? Oh,
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, every time she came on screen, it took me out of the movie.
I think a lot of people feel that way, but that was just because you're not supposed to like her, because she's just she just comes in acting like she's Leia, General Leia,
and you're like
you're not. Pose like you're not just, General Leia.
No.
Actually, you should go away.
Wasn't a very good fit for this movie.
She was good.
Hair looked like it was the 90s. She was dressed like it was the 90s.
She's the hipster.
She didn't fit in with Star Wars.
She's the feminist.
She essentially, I would have to say, kind of took the spot of that one general. You remember in episode 6, the one who was explaining the whole plan for getting the Death Star.
No, I don't remember any of that.
Wait, who?
In episode 6, if I recall, there was
trying to get the Death Star?
Remember there was it wasn't Leia that was doing it, but it was like the head of the rebellion.
The lady from Rogue One. Yeah. She's in Rogue One also. It's the same character. She's the leader.
How many Star Wars movies are there?
Well, Han Solo and Rogue One are like side stories like Mandalorian. They're not episodes. They're just there. Han Solo doesn't work for me, but Rogue One, I love Rogue One.
There's more Star Wars than freaking Greek mythology at this point.
No,
there's
not
more Marvel
even close.
Movies and Harry Potter
There's
movies.
a lot of Marvel movies.
And Harry Potter movies and Lord of the Rings movies like Hobbit and Lord of the Rings than there are Star Wars. So it's still not there yet.
There's 4 Lord of the Rings movies, right?
6.
Oh.
Hobbit 1, 2, 3, Lord of the Rings 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, if that's the case, then there still are more Star Wars movies. Then.
Now there is. Yeah.
But think about how many Star Wars franchises there are. Lego Star Wars.
Oh no, those don't count.
That doesn't count. It doesn't count as canon.
Lego stuff.
There's Legos. There's Attack of the Clones, the TV show.
Lot of Star Wars,
I tried to watch that on Disney Plus. I was so disappointed.
Man, those are. I
mean, Star Wars is a big like thing. Like Star Wars is a big franchise, but the movies, there's only 8 now, and 4 movies just came out. But those 4 movies just came out within a 2-year period.
And that's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
And Rogue One really works. Rogue One is really, really good. In fact, I would say it's better than Force Awakens, and I love Force Awakens. Rogue One is a great movie.
I would say Rogue One was better than Last Jedi, but I wouldn't say it was better than Force Awakens.
I just really love that story and what they did with it. Anyways, long story short.
What are your Skywalker predictions? Rise of the Skywalker.
So for me, I would like to see Kylo Ren saved, but I know the plans were, before Carrie Fisher unfortunately passed away.
Of sleep apnea.
No, she died on the plane.
She died of sleep apnea. I work for a company that sells CPAP machines, and we have hanging in our office but we have the newspaper, and it says Carrie Fisher dies of sleep apnea, and we show it to our patients because it's a recognizable celebrity name.
That's weird.
I
thought she died on the plane. She had like a stroke or something.
She died in her sleep on the plane of sleep apnea. That's when your throat closes off in your sleep and you stop breathing.
Why?
It happens to older people sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, so if you have sleep apnea, wear your CPAP machine.
I guess so. So yeah, like I know that Leia was supposed to be the one to get Kylo to the good side, but now that, what are they gonna do? Like, what's gonna happen now? Like, I have no idea.
Why wouldn't they do that?
Because they can't do that because she passed away, unless they do CGI, and they've already said they're not doing that.
Wait, who passed away?
Carrie Fisher.
Oh, you said Kylo. Okay, Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher, Leia, was supposed to save Kylo in the next movie and bring him to the light side, kind of like Luke did with Darth Vader.
Was she CGI'd into some of the other movies?
No.
Okay, so she's passed away.
In Rogue One she was, but that's because they needed a 20-year-old Leia, and that was not going to happen. Current Leia.
Right.
I'm wondering.
You think it's going to be? You think it's going to be Rey who saves Kylo?
That's the only.
Oh, definitely.
Or they're going to. I think they're going to change it.
Here's what I think she's actually going to do. I think because she is actually such a powerful Jedi, I think she can actually choose to go back and forth between light and dark much easier than the other Jedi could.
She does have the red lightsaber in the trailer.
And so here's what my expectation is. I think that when they face the Emperor, she goes to the dark side to defeat him.
Kill him, yeah.
Yes. So
but then she has to be pulled back to the light, because they say that when the dark side takes you over, it's kind of like the One Ring. Like it possesses you.
And I think Kylo saves Rey. Yeah, I believe so.
Rey kills the Emperor because Palpatine is back.
Yep. And so because of that, she technically is a Sith by that point, because
I think
you can't kill a Jedi without being a Sith.
I think what they should do, just to wrap up the entire Skywalker trilogy at this point.
Yeah.
Anakin, Hayden Christensen from the prequels.
Ooh.
Comes back as a ghost.
Ooh.
Luke, because Luke figured out how to like physically appear. You can now fight as a ghost.
Ooh.
Get Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor.
Oh, that would be great.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And they all just team up and go bananas with the Emperor's
really
army. And they all come
I
back.
am so looking forward to this.
Fun to watch.
I'm not saying it's gonna happen.
Well, no, but
Hey,
my goodness, that does.
CGI them together if you have to. I don't care.
All right, I'm just getting too many expectations.
I mean,
now.
that's the thing. Because if the
my
Emperor
concern.
is able to defy death and become immortal, then so should Obi-Wan, Anakin, Yoda.
If that's the case, then that would basically
Luke,
make it so that
Han Solo.
How do you?
Han's not gonna come back, so he's done. But
why didn't Obi-Wan come back for any of these movies?
everybody's asked that question, but he's getting his own TV show right now as we speak.
TV show?
It's been greenlit.
No.
So, yeah, no.
I wanted a movie.
So in the cartoon, because you said you did not watch Attack of the Clones, you missed a huge plot point to what happens to Obi-Wan that they actually introduced in the cartoon.
In the
you
cartoon,
know what I'm talking about?
I've tried to watch. I watched like maybe 2 or 3
Attack of the
episodes,
Clones is
and
great. I've caught one episode of it when I was babysitting. I really liked it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's not.
it was so cheesy.
But do you know what I'm talking about? About what happens?
No, what?
Obi-Wan falls in love with the princess, and he says to her, "This is Attack of the Clones, so this is during the Clone War, during the prequels." And she's like, "You could just stay here, and we could have a family and kids, and nobody would know, because she's a princess of some planet, and like nobody really cares." And he says, "One day to her, one day I will come back, and I will be with you. But
That's
I really
what
need
Anakin
to."
said, and look how that turned out.
Yeah.
But Obi-Wan's not Anakin.
I know, I'm just
And
kidding.
Yoda.
Obi-Wan's smarter than it.
Yeah. Anakin.
I'm kidding.
But what I'm saying is, this is what the Obi-Wan show should do. After he defeats Anakin and thinks that Anakin is dead,
So
he transports Luke and Leia as a baby to the Tatooine
their
planet, the desert planet, and then
he goes and lives his life with
and
her.
he comes back
and
at the end.
Yes.
When he gets
that
old,
would be perfect.
because she could pass away. She could
Let's
have
see
got
it.
old age. That's
that would be
That's
that would
what
be amazing.
I would want for an Obi-Wan TV show. Just like that is what I want for the end of.
Is it an Obi-Wan TV show?
Yeah, it's greenlit. It's happening.
Oh wow.
It's wrapped under. We do know what happens. Watch the clone. All you have to do is Google Clone Wars episode Obi-Wan falls in love with princess.
Do you know which episode it is? Cause
no, but if you Google it, it'll tell you. You can even watch it on YouTube.
All right.
I think.
So speaking of things that are greenlit, we have some trailers to talk about.
No, wait. What were your expectations?
For the next movie?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think somebody's gonna end up being somebody.
Well,
somebody's son.
You already
or daughter.
said you thought
Kylo saves Rey. That could totally happen. But I don't know. They probably want to go the girl power angle.
They're gonna go the girl power.
That's
Rey
what Disney's
saves,
doing right now.
If it's not Leia CGI coming back from the dead
to
save
I don't know
Kylo,
if they would do that.
and I don't think they're gonna do that.
I don't think it's a thing of physically saving her. I think it's a thing of basically he winds up being basically where she was when they faced Snoke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be.
I do know that
he
J.J.
brings her
Abrams-
back to the
Right.
light side.
J.J.
Yeah.
Abrams has come out and said there's going to be a lot of plot twists. Kind of
Oh, thank goodness.
like Infinity
I
War
like
Endgame
this.
level. Like we're
J.J.
talking.
Abrams
wow.
can go overboard with his plot twists, though.
No, he can't. No, he
Lost.
doesn't. I love Lost, except for the last season.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
But he wasn't there at that point. He was gone.
Oh,
Somebody
he
else
wasn't?
took over for the
Oh.
last season of Lost.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm saying is, like, J.J. Abrams has said, like, whatever your expectations are, you're not going to guess what's going to happen. You might be one of the few that gets it or gets lucky, but most of the time, like, walk into that movie getting a lot of, like, surprises.
Yeah, I'm ready for surprises.
I love surprises.
Because why would Disney come out and say, oh, yeah, our original plan was for Leia to save Kylo, and then go, like, we're just going to reveal that to say we're not doing that? Then what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What is it now? What does...
Well, that
Do they
that,
go and
that-
just...
It's Rey.
simple as
Rey's
Rey
gonna-
saving
Rey's
him,
gonna
or
save
something
Kylo.
else entirely?
Rey's gonna save Kylo.
Well, no, that would actually bring me to think that would be more likely for basically Rey to defeat the Emperor and then wind up where Kylo has to essentially bring her back to the light side. I think that's kind of what it would set up for.
The biggest thing is this is the end of the Skywalker saga that started with Anakin as a baby or as a kid in Phantom Menace to Darth Vader to Luke now, and this is the end for the Skywalker saga. No more Skywalkers after this movie. So how are they going to end that entire history of
Yeah, bring them all together. That would be awesome.
and then just kind of wrap it up?
That
And
would
then,
be
like,
sweet.
And then do what they were planning on doing with that kid in The Last Jedi who was on the casino planet and he grabbed the room with the
Oh,
Force.
yeah.
Oh
what
my
were they gonna
gosh,
do with
yes.
him?
I wanted to know
They
ever
want-
since I saw that.
They want Obi-Wan back. They want Darth Maul back. They want, Rey and Kylo and what happens next with them. Like, I am more excited about the future, but I'm also really excited to see the end of the Skywalker saga. I think that alone is going to get people to see this movie because this is the end of Skywalker saga,
Yeah.
period. And there will be no more Skywalkers after this. So I'm really excited to see what happens next for Star Wars and where it goes in the future. So anyways, long story short, we gotta get you on
Movie
the
news.
Entourage app so we can get you a ticket with us to see Star Wars.
Yes.
Because that needs to be seen Thursday and up and loaded.
Comes out on Thursday?
2 weeks from now, yeah.
Okay, well.
Or
yeah.
Wednesday. Was it Wednesday or Thursday?
Guys,
Are there even seats available anymore?
We'll find out.
We have some trailers to talk about. We've got some movie news. We're gonna bring up some of your comments. So let's get started here. First of all, first things first. I think I need you guys to do a little addendum to Frozen. Your review of Frozen.
Okay.
Because they both saw it again, and
Did
as
you see it again?
I predicted,
I didn't see it
You
again.
didn't see it again.
Okay,
But I
Todd
have
saw
listened
it
to the
again.
soundtrack so much.
I didn't dislike. You guys didn't dislike the movie as much as I did. You were like okay with it, and
Yeah.
Shannon, I think you said you loved it as much as the first one.
I really liked it, and I wasn't sure how I'd feel about it on second watch.
I
I've
loved it. On the
since
second watch.
then memorized the entire soundtrack and
So-
can't get it out of my head, and
so
I
let's-
love this movie.
So we did do a spoiler talk, and I did trash the movie. I'm only taking that back for one reason. This only happened once, guys. The movie theater sound was completely off.
That's true. It
There were
was.
musical notes. There were action scenes. There were
The entire lines were gone.
entire lines were missing. So
Like
it was
something
yeah.
Olaf said was just completely not there.
Yeah.
So watching it again in IMAX with everything like it's supposed to be in there,
Yeah.
I definitely don't dislike the movie as much as I did, but I still don't love it as Frozen 1.
Okay.
But, I would give Frozen 1 without even thinking about it 10 out of 10. Perfect Disney movie.
Okay.
As much as Lion King, Aladdin.
Yeah.
Mulan is up there too.
Sure.
Okay. I would give Frozen 2 like 8.5.
That's pretty good.
maybe
That's
9.
pretty high. It's a lot higher than you were saying the other night.
So the song at the end, Into the Unknown,
Yeah,
is done a lot better with all the instruments and notes that were missing
definitely.
from that viewing we had. Never going back to that theater again, like crossing Dolby, unless something miracle happens and fixes it. But yeah, that's such a. It could have been any movie. It had to be Frozen. One of the
Yeah.
biggest
I know. It
movies.
was one of the.
That was so sad.
I mean, what also didn't help is like I couldn't pay attention with the girl just
Yes.
screaming. So there were two
I had
things.
a better experience because I think the speakers weren't broken where I was sitting. as much as where you were sitting, and I think the girl wasn't yelling in my ear.
Yeah. So for me, the second experience I still think it's a money grab for Disney. I still hate the fact that they're gonna drag this, like, okay, the third one's now is about the parents, and we thought
I want to see the third one. I'm already ready for it.
No, I'm excited. I just don't like the ploy, that thing that
they didn't.
That
this wasn't a cash grab. They put a lot of hard work and effort into this.
It did, but they could
There's
have
a lot of
ended with
love.
their mom or dad and just finished. I don't know.
But that's probably
I have a hard
the
time
third
with
one.
They tried so hard to make everyone think that they were going in search of their parents and that they were gonna find them.
Yeah.
And that I was just that part of it. I'm disappointed in their marketing.
They kind of do.
I would have to say.
They do find the boat where their parents passed away, and then they find,
no definitive answer on anything.
Spoiler alert, they kind of find the mom, although she's sort of a ghost. I'm still not really sure what happened there.
I think that was essentially just memories.
That was the water
It
memory.
made sense.
Yeah,
the
memories
second
from
time.
the water.
Yeah.
Either she's still dead, or it was just the memories and the magic of the forest talking to her, and she's the fifth spirit.
Yeah, maybe it was the memory in the water. That's probably what it was.
So, that's okay. So to the comments, I really like Richard Williams' comment. Elsa's power was a gift from the spirits because it do not help the enemy even though they were at war. And I think that's a key thing that most people are missing when they're watching Frozen. It wasn't that the spirit of nature, of like the calling of that to Elsa, was the spirit itself who trusted Elsa to bring peace of the colony and the what is the stupid town called, the castle town?
Arendelle.
Like
stupid town.
I can never remember the name of that castle town.
Yeah.
But like kind of like the spirit was like, okay, like you need to go and you need to bring like peace between these two groups because your grandfather effed it up really badly.
Yes.
It's A.A. Rondell.
and there's a lot of yeah, that's true.
Oh my
gosh.
Now you'll remember it.
Yeah.
A.A. Rondell.
Hey, Aaron! Aaron, you mean? No, Aaron. Okay. The thing that everybody's missing about this movie and why it's so great, and I actually wrote it down because it's so well put together.
Can't wait to see it a second time.
Oh yeah, no, it's
I
much
wanna
better
watch
a second
it again.
time.
I almost walked out of Knives Out and right into Frozen 2 last
Oh, really?
night, but it was 9:45 and I had to work the next day.
Oh.
Oh
I
my
was
God.
tempted.
No, where'd it
And I
go?
still have my Frozen cup and I use it every day. Best $5.99 I've ever spent.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, so there's this article. What country is it based? Norway or Denmark or
Norway.
something? Norway. Okay, so in Norway, the country itself, real life, there is like a Vikings, like some kind of native people.
Yes, there is.
I forgot their name. And then there's Denmark, and they kind of had a clash, but that's one thing that I really like about it is like they kind of had like they had a peaceful come togetherness where they become together, and that's what this movie is portraying. And I think that story speaks volume because I didn't know that before I watched Frozen 2.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool for kids in Denmark because this movie is about Denmark. It's about their history, even though it's fictional, even though it's fantasy. It is really talking about what Denmark went through with these natives.
Yeah.
And like it's really smart to release it for Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving was really about, you know, before
you're right.
before the Pilgrims killed all the natives. It really was about coming together in a peaceful way and like kind of working together.
Yes, it was a celebration of the peaceful things that happened, despite all of the other horrible things that happened. That's what Thanksgiving was about.
That's one aspect that once I learned it made it a better movie than Frozen 1. But I still find Frozen 1 a better movie. I just like the story of that, representing to the children and the future generation of Denmark and these people to be able for both of these natives, the Denmark and these natives, whoever they are, to go see Frozen 2. And like I've heard stories where people are crying, like generation of families were watching Frozen 2 and like everything that happened between Denmark and like how much it has affected their culture and their country.
The natives, when they have that native chant, it's actually done really by a native tribe in Norway.
Hey, yeah. That's really cool. I didn't know that actually.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
But in the movie, the first time I saw Frozen 1, I was like, that does not fit Frozen. Like, with anything Frozen related. But them to go back and be like, no, it's the natives who came up with that song.
Yeah.
Be like, that makes complete sense!
Yep.
And I love that Elsa is the bridge of both people coming together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, anyways, long story short, that's freaking cool, and I love Frozen now. And then the other comment was from Frozen, so that was Richard that I talked. Daryl Bone wrote, Thanos, you should have aimed for the head. It snaps. Meanwhile, inside the cave, Olaf, Anna, I don't want to go. I really like that comment. And then my other favorite one was the one where Desmond Cronin, I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry if I butchered it. Or any of these names for that matter. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize because I'm not good with pronouncing names. I lost it when Elsa cringed at Let It Go callback, and I think that was for all the parents.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah.
yes. So yeah, that's my correction for Frozen 2. What do you got next?
All right, so we just watched a new trailer for another Disney movie, Mulan. What did you guys think?
Wow.
I know, right?
I'm excited because it has. I'm glad it's not like that. And there's hints of the animated movie, but it really
Hints,
is.
but it's just hints, and it's like they're like, this is why we're doing it better.
See, when it's a copy like Lion King, it sucks. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, you're just
Absolutely.
when
You're
doing
just
it like
losing
Aladdin,
the animation.
Yeah.
Magic,
But when you're taking the magic of the animation, like
Yes.
Aladdin, and make it its own
Yes.
live action thing.
Yeah.
And Mulan's really like, oh, it really worked with Aladdin. We're gonna go much further in this and go.
Yeah.
This is going to be the best Disney live action movie.
That's saying a lot because I love Aladdin.
Aladdin was
And Jungle Book.
fantastic.
Well,
So
Jungle
Yeah.
Book was fantastic.
that's true, but I think you're right. I
but
think
it
this
might
will
be.
I think
this will
is
be
gonna top
definitely the best
I
live
don't want to hype it
action
too much because if you don't love it, it's just gonna be sad. So.
slash action
But the trailers are
kung
selling
fu. Yeah.
it. I was totally against them taking the music out of it, but now
But
that
now
I've seen
in
the
the
But
trailer,
yeah,
contrast,
now that
you're like,
now
that
that I
makes
see
complete
it,
that
yeah.
makes so much
sense.
sense.
Yeah, because that would not work.
It would
in this
not
one.
work.
It
But
worked
they
in
still
Aladdin.
have the reflection song playing, but it's like orchestral
background.
and it's big and it fits with the movie and it's
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
Go watch the new Mulan trailer. It dropped today on
The-
YouTube. It's beautiful.
The only thing I had a problem with this movie is I wanted to see Jet Li as the Emperor, and they're not showing it. And I want to see it.
The guy who's playing the Han with the yellow face,
Donnie Yen,
he
man.
looks so much like that cartoon.
Well, he's Asian, and
No, but that Han cartoon is like a monster with yellow face and black eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
well, that is Donnie Yen. You're right.
but
You're
like
right.
they found a guy that actually is going to portray that role
I'm
well,
so
and I was
glad.
surprised.
I was really hyped about the who they picked for the general. That they actually picked like a huge action star.
I didn't know
for
who that
that.
was.
He's been in what was it? The Triple X, the newest Triple X movie.
Donnie Yen, Ip Man.
Yeah. No, but she
And-
was talking about who plays the Hun.
That's Donnie Yen. the Ip
No, because there's the
Man. What are you
the
talking
guy who
about?
plays the Ip Man is not the guy who plays the Hun.
Who is he playing then?
He's playing the captain. Not the. I don't believe he's playing the general. I
I
believe
have to
he's
watch it
playing the
again.
captain.
I thought he was playing Han, but okay.
No,
That's what I saw. I saw the character cast, and they said Donnie.
No,
God, Google this.
the Hun is a different guy, but as you said, yeah, he does
Yeah.
look just like the animated Hun. Like, wow.
Yeah, he does. And there's no Mushu in this, but it looks like she's gonna have some sort
better
of an animal
replacement.
sidekick, something like that.
But I did love Mushu.
I did love
it was
Mushu
just-
too.
I
Mushu's
think
great
I think
character,
for
but-
live action they had to
You're wrong.
replace the real
Unfortunately, he's playing. Donnie Yen is playing
the Hun.
Han.
What?
Okay.
How is that
Well-
possible?
But then the other one says he's playing a commander. Is Donnie Yen a commander?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, is Han a commander?
No, the Hun is not. Well, unless that's a twist on it. Maybe he's actually like. Well,
no, we'll have to
whoa.
watch the trailer again to figure it out.
Because
But
I saw him dressed as one of the Chinese.
Yen will play the commander Tang, who is like Hung, a mentor and teacher. So they don't even have Hung in the movie.
Hung.
Han. They're not even.
No,
the
she meant
Huns.
the Hun.
Attila
The Hun.
Han.
Attila the Hun. She meant who plays Attila the Hun. The guy who
creepy
plays.
monster guy.
Oh, I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about the love
No.
interest.
No.
I'm so confused. Wait, what?
So in
That's-
the
yeah.
animated
That's why
movie, there's the villain is that creepy Attila the Hun character.
Really dark. He's got that
He's
long
got
dark hair
long,
with the
creepy
hawk,
dark hair,
the hawk and like those
bright
Yeah,
yellow
really
show him.
face
I didn't even
and
notice.
black
eyebrows.
eyes, and he
Okay.
takes the little baby doll and he crushes it.
In the animated movie, yeah.
Yes. So they found somebody that kind
It
of
actually
like that.
looks kind of like him.
Yeah.
He looks like a
Surprise.
real life
I
version
gotta
of
watch
him.
the
Yeah.
trailer again because I don't remember that actually.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta watch it like 4
Watched
times
the
like she
trailer a
did.
couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah, I
It
watched
looked
it
good.
like 4 times.
I will watch it
mean,
probably another 2 times at least.
It was
yeah,
good.
it's
Very
good. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be a good March. It's so weird. We got March, Mulan,
man.
and then a few weeks later it's 007. So 2
Oh yeah, we
big
watched
movies.
the 007 trailer.
They both
which-
dropped at the same time, which makes sense because they're only
Yeah.
a few weeks apart.
Right.
Yeah.
You haven't seen any of the other 007 movies, but I
I tried.
I haven't
I
either,
tried to
except
watch
for
one.
Skyfall, which
That
I
worked.
barely remember. So
Yeah, you guys should all watch it because this is they're gonna make keynotes. They said because this is the last Daniel Craig movie as James Bond.
No,
So
my
they're gonna-
question is do I have to watch any ones prior to Daniel Craig or
Nope.
just start off with Daniel Craig?
Yep.
Like the ones prior to that, are they basically obsolete?
There's
or...
some hints to like the car.
Oh yeah,
and
but
trains,
if it's only
but not plot wise. Like you don't
Okay.
like Daniel Craig is its own story. Like if you watch Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and then Spectre, you're caught up to Daniel Craig movies. And they said this is his last movie, and they're all gonna play major like throwbacks to all 4. So you need to see all 4 to understand what happens to his character. So definitely worth watching. I would say the only one I didn't like was Quantum of Solace, and it wasn't a bad movie. It was just the story wasn't as good. And then I love Casino Royale and Skyfall. So, and then I don't even remember Spectre. I remember liking it, but
I don't even remember a thing about Skyfall except for the Adele song.
that was really
It
good.
was good.
Yeah, so watch those. But anyways, the trailer dropped. This is the last movie. Looks like an action-packed spy movie, and I'm glad it took 5 movies for Daniel Craig to have a car that has guns on it. I don't know why. It took 5 movies.
Oh my goodness.
But here we are. Finally, he has a car that can do all kinds of gadget stuff. So, okay. And then the girl in the movie is the one he marries at the end of Spectre. And I guess he thinks she betrayed him and she's spying on him or something. So that will be really interesting to see. Because that's what happens in Spectre. He falls in love with the girl and they... he actually retires as James Bond. And goes and be
Why
with
does
this
that
girl.
sound like the last Mission Impossible?
Because that happened in Mission Impossible. Well, Mission Impossible is a copy of 007 originally. Just remember that.
Man.
Oh yeah. So anyways, yeah, that's, I would say the trailer was cool.
Do you guys have any other movie news to talk about?
Oh yeah, okay, so
Oh,
we did
yeah.
have some comments that I wanted to get into.
We did a few of the
so
Frozen comments.
We did do the Frozen comments, and then we did, me and George saw 21 Bridges, which is really interesting about that is like it's hated by critics but loved by people. And there was one comment that I really liked. So Tori Gleason said, one thing that really impressed me about this film is that I felt every bullet. 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
It felt more, it was like really like you could feel it. And then Stuart Broad said 91% from audience and 50% from critics like it, while the other 50 is rotten. Guess it's one of those films for a certain group of people.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a cop drama action movie, it totally works. But I feel
And
like
it's pretty good
half
for
those
that.
critics did not want to see 21 Bridges, which
Probably-
is understandable. So
probably
they were gonna dump on it anyway. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, like, that's what you get. And then I think there was one more.
That's one
Well,
of the
I
issues.
forgot who this person. I'm so sorry I cut your name out, but it says I saw the movie, but I still don't understand how the cops are the villains. I mean, that's the last 10 minutes of the movie. I guess I said that in the review. I said it didn't make much sense. It went a little too fast to explain how he was responsible and blah 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 blah. It just felt really quick. And I don't get how he's in his house telling him I'm arresting you. I'd be like, who's gonna believe you? I'm the freaking sergeant. But yet, like, he was convinced he was like going to jail and they had to
At
kill
the
him.
same time, though, he was a detective, and they usually are considered.
Okay, but if he's that high up, like, who is gonna, like, some cop came into my house and said, I'm arrested for something I did. I didn't do that. That's all he had to say. But then he has, like, the FBI guy come in, the black FBI guy, and try to shoot him. Makes no sense. And then, like, the cops come to arrest him, and they don't have any questions. He just puts them in the back seat. If the cops showed up and saw the sergeant and be like, we're shooting you. Why are you arresting our sergeant? The shit just doesn't make any sense. That ending is so bad.
Yeah, well, it was a little
I love the movie, but it makes no sense for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the more you think about it, like,
yeah, that's true.
What is going on?
That's true. There were a lot of things that just weren't realistic about the ending.
Everything else was realistic, though.
Yeah.
From, like, finding the drugs.
Like, maybe they ran out of time for the screenwriting, and they're just like, let's just throw this in there.
It was
be like,
so
we don't have time to write a good ending, so like we're just gonna throw this in here. Or maybe they originally didn't even plan to have that at all.
I don't know.
I'm wondering if maybe they actually originally didn't even plan to have any, like, they didn't know what to do in regards to that.
Think about how stupid it is the more you think about it. He goes into the house and he's like, you're right, you caught me, now I have to fight you. FBI comes in for whatever reason and is in on it?
Basically he definitely called the FBI ahead of time and basically called for backup on everything in that regard.
Yeah, but why does the FBI know that the sergeant and the cops are dirty? Like, there's no explanation.
Because he already gave them the information for it. So essentially,
But the problem is, there was no setup to that. It was just like,
true.
Oh, they're in the house, we're going to shoot you.
Yeah.
And then Sienna
there
Miller's
was no
character, she
explanation.
just walks in and she's like, and she's firing. It's like, this is so stupid.
Yeah, it was like there was no explanation. Went straight from, okay, you have the intel to suddenly you're attacking these people, and it's like, wait, what?
Every person in the house, from the FBI to Sienna Miller's character to like the sergeant, all could work together and say that's bullshit, and that would be that.
But that wasn't the FBI.
The black guy was the FBI.
No, that wasn't FBI.
Okay, who was he then?
He was one of the other cops that was under that sergeant's thing.
Right.
So that's why. So basically, here's what happened. There was an entire shift of police officers squad, basically.
Okay.
That entire squad was dirty. And no one had found them out because, well, no one really dealt with that.
But then who's going to believe a bunch of drug dealers that the cops are dirty? If it's some guy who's a robber or killer or murderer or drug dealer was like, I know the cops are dirty, they're going to be like, you're a criminal. I don't believe anything you say.
That was exactly the issue throughout the whole movie, and that's how they set it up. So essentially what was happening was that the dirty cops were trying to kill the drug dealers because they had intel on that the cops were dirty.
It's a Word document. Just delete it. Like, okay, so he made a Word document with our police badges, and there's money on it. What's the evidence?
Well, he had more evidence on there than just that. Yeah. Yeah,
or maybe it's
what that was the records. So basically with that, they would be able to look up the bank transfer records.
Okay.
Because that's essentially how he was doing it. He was laundering money. So if they looked up those records, they would see that that amount went to that police officer.
Okay, so there's money in the police officer's bank record.
Mm-hmm.
How does that tie to drug money? It could just be any money. They would have to go extra length to explain all of that, and there's no explanation to that.
Well, I thought that was what the movie was.
But that's the thing; it doesn't make sense.
Well, to me, it made perfect sense in the regard of how basically
there's only one guy who has figured everything out, and like nobody from the entire police force to like the higher ups to his partner girl lady couldn't have just been like, he's losing his mind or he's trying to.
Well, no, because they were also trying to chase him. They knew that he was. They set it up so that basically they wanted a detective on that case who would shoot without question. All right, and that was why they brought him.
And he didn't shoot without question.
He didn't shoot without question.
Right.
He didn't play by their rules, so that's why they really got upset with him.
Well, that's the opening scene where he's being like judged and like like being taken serious. Like, why do you? It's like, I only shoot when I need to. I never shoot somebody because I'm shooting somebody. I shoot because that's my only choice. So throughout the movie, he shows that he'll shoot you, but only if he has to, which makes sense. So,
but because he he had shot so many people. That's why they thought he would just shoot.
Maybe I just need to watch the movie. Okay, so the next one was Abraham McCulley, who wrote, realistically, would they really shut down all the bridges to New York for a drug dealer? Absolutely not. Maybe an Al-Qaeda terrorist or someone who assassinated the president.
For a drug dealer? No.
No,
and
that's so
And I was
true.
like, well, I thought, 20 cops died that night, so they must be pissed. But would the politicians and the governor and the mayor all agree to shut down the bridges for 24 hours or for all night? Probably not.
For drugs? No. With drugs everywhere.
Like, sorry, the cops died, but we're not shutting down New York City for that. You know, a terrorist attack, yes. President being shot, absolutely.
Yeah.
But not that. So, anyways, that's the comment. I agree
that was
with
a
you.
good point.
And then for the last one, which one was it? No.
Well, how long was it shut down? It was 4 hours or something.
12 hours or 8 hours, whatever it was that night.
It was from midnight,
Yeah.
midnight to maybe 6
Oh, we didn't do
or 4. Yeah, I think it was 4.
I did like, Dirk, your comment where you said Luke Skywalker did it in the tent with the green lightsaber for 21 knives, because the director
You mean Knives Out?
Knives.
21 knives. Well, I think
There's
there might have been
bridges.
more. Might have been more knives than
Actually,
that.
there was
and that
way
more
than
than 21.
The circular knife thing just
That
looked
was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. I think that all played into it really well.
The writer and director of The Last Jedi is the writer and director for Knives Out. That's what they're referring
Really?
to.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ryan
I
Johnson.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was
That's a better
funny.
film.
That was so funny.
So Dirk,
That was
huge.
great.
That was funny. And then Matthew Okanava wrote, really hope this movie does well and people support an original screenplay. Yes. Yes. These are the movies
What
that are
movie
not
was that
making
for?
money for Knives Out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it does
Lighthouse
make money.
is original. I really liked it. I like Doctor Sleep, but these original screenplays, like this one too, are just not getting the attention unless you're a franchise like Disney or superhero or 007.
I think now what people are realizing is that to actually get that attention, they have to bring in, like, I guess you could say, household name actors.
Yeah.
And so that's essentially, I think, the only way you're ever going to get these movies to really take off. And in some cases, like Jojo Rabbit, not even then.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shoot, Jojo Rabbit, a movie that nobody's even watching.
And it was
exactly.
so good.
And it was
It's one of
good.
my
It
favorite
was
movies of the
great.
year.
Yeah, and I think Knives Out is having the same problem right
Really?
now. Nobody's really giving it the
Credit it deserves.
I hate to say it, but audiences today is like, if I'm gonna give you $13 per movie, it has to be explosions and like big action, because they can't justify. You know, even California said the movie ticket is $22 per
here's
person.
one of the things too is that I think
New York too,
Well,
Chicago,
No way.
close
one
to
of somebody I know they said they didn't see it simply because of Daniel Craig's accent
Oh,
in
no, go see
the
it.
trailer.
It's
In the
so
trailer,
good.
which I have to agree. When I heard his accent in the trailer, I was like, oh gosh, no.
I think they could have. I didn't see the trailer because you were pointing things. So when I saw it with George, I was like, that was in the trailer. I was like, George, I didn't see the trailer.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. But sure, Jojo Rabbit, like, if you're gonna
That was
complain,
a great trailer. That was a great movie.
Right.
Like, yeah.
The trailer wasn't what the movie was for, but it was.
But it was
think
I've
so
been
good.
misled by several trailers lately.
Yes,
That's
it's
true.
terrible.
I think the problem with Hollywood is they don't like Doctor Sleep, a sequel to Schindler's List. Not
Schindler's List.
Shining.
Whoa,
Yeah,
wait,
Jojo
what?
Rabbit on the
Jojo Rabbit on my mind. Just talking too much, my brain's just becoming
Shining.
fuzzy. The Shining. You watch that trailer, you would have 90% of the people who walked into Doctor
Wouldn't
Sleep and said
know
this.
what it was
Like,
for.
wait, is this The Shining? Like,
Yeah.
they did not promote it.
No.
They didn't talk about it.
No.
They didn't include it. They didn't tie it into it.
Well,
Hollywood has gotten really
here's-
weird when it comes to smaller
Here's
movies.
one of the things though is that they've been swapping a lot more to ads. Okay, and I'm a Snapchat
Okay.
user, so I wind up seeing all these
Oh,
trailers
okay.
come up on
I don't
Snapchat.
have
Really?
Snapchat.
So I've seen the I think I've seen the Mulan trailer. I've seen the Jumanji trailer.
Okay.
I've seen
This is
I
part
saw
of
Knives
the-
Out probably
okay.
like 20 times in
Oh.
trailers on there.
I never
I
see
saw,
it. I Snapchat, but I don't ever see ads on there.
Really?
Not really.
Wow.
I've used it 3 years ago, so I don't think it's the same Snapchat anymore.
But I also saw. I also did see. Which movie were we talking about again?
Knives Out.
Knives Out. Yeah, I definitely saw the trailer for that quite a few times on there.
I saw like a small ad for it, but it didn't show his accent or anything.
And that's how I knew Chris Evans was in it, was because he was in the trailer.
Oh, okay.
And they had the one scene with the family just blowing up, and he's like, "Gosh, we should do this more often." And I was like, so like they did a good job of like the really small snippets.
I'm like, wait, is that Captain America?
That was an all-star cast.
That really was. Okay, we gotta move on.
You guys have any final thoughts?
No, we gotta do one more.
Oh.
Okay, so Tipin Daro, you wrote, and oh my gosh, do I agree with you? You are so on point, lady. Ana de Armas is really moving up in the world with Blade Runner 2049 and Andrew Dominik's Marilyn Manson movie Blonde set to release next year on Netflix. I did not know that, but after watching Knives Out, I really like this girl. Like, I want her.
Who? Which one?
She was the nurse lady who killed the
Fran?
father accidentally.
No, not Fran.
The main character, the one who threw up all the time.
Marta.
Yeah, her name. The actress name is Ana de Armas. If you've never seen Blade Runner 2049, she plays a hologram.
She
like
was
AI.
in something. I know I recognized her somewhere.
I saw her in Blade Runner 2049. She's playing Marilyn Monroe in her next movie called Blonde, which is set to release.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah,
really?
and she's. But then there's like a whole JFK
She'll probably
thing.
be good at that.
I looked at it. Yeah, it's gonna release on Netflix, so we should all watch it.
Yeah.
I don't have Netflix, actually.
I'm sure you can get a hold of it somehow. Technology is so up to date these days. Yeah. I'm sure there's a way to see it. But anyways, yeah, you're right. Like I am very confident of seeing this girl basically play in something more where she is just like taking full charge and being a lead role. This was kind of like it's kind of her movie and Captain America's movie and 007's movie. They're all kind of just like have their
it's
big
her
parts.
movie though. It's Marta's
but it's her movie,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But she's not all the time on the scene. She's there, but she's not a majority. I think Marilyn Monroe would be a movie like Judy, like where she is in a 20, like every scene is her. In and out.
That could be good.
Yeah,
she's got an interesting story too, Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure.
So yeah, that's about it for us. This is probably the longest episode because we haven't done an episode in a long time. I'm glad you got to see Star Wars and we're really excited. We're gonna get her ticket to join us, and we'll release the Star Wars review for Rise of the Skywalker the night it comes out. So my goal is to get it up and ready to go by midnight or as soon as possible. And then also, is there a movie coming out this weekend that we need to see?
Let me check.
We can give people a heads up that.
Yeah, the only one I think I remember seeing
some
was
Lego movie, right?
Playmobil.
Playmobil. That might end up being a surprise hit.
That one, I am expecting it to kind of like be one where people are like, "What is this?" And then, wow, it's great.
It might be like the Lego movie.
To see?
I would say I'm gonna go see it, and then I'll let you know.
Yeah, sounds good.
Because the trailer. Then... Well, here's the thing: is that I don't know because I've never seen a. I've seen the trailer, and the trailer has some really good comedy in it.
Oh.
But we've seen this before, where the trailer has great comedy. You go to the movie, and then it's terrible. So I'm not sure. Now, granted,
it made by?
I can't remember.
DreamWorks. Right?
DreamWorks, yeah.
No, who's it made by?
I almost thought it might be
WB?
DreamWorks.
Blue Sky?
No, I think it might be DreamWorks here.
It's probably Blue Sky or Illumination.
What's the movie called?
Or Aardman.
Playmobil movie.
Those are the only options.
Playmobil the movie. Movie details.
If it's anything like the Lego movie.
It's got Daniel Radcliffe in it.
Really?
Yes.
Harry Potter?
Jim Gaffigan.
Is there a Harry Potter?
Adam Lambert.
Playmobil?
Anya Taylor-Joy. Kenan Thompson.
Ooh, it's getting destroyed on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, great.
It's less than 20%. Oh, no, it's at 23 now. It was
awful.
less. It went up to 23.
Some executive
it's
at
got
Playmobil.
Meghan Trainor.
Oh, gosh. Sticks. STX Films. Some unheard of stupid... Yeah, no, I'm not seeing this.
Man, they could have made that good, too.
I'll probably watch it maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah,
okay, what's coming? I'm just.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it turns out.
All right, I'm just gonna do a real quick, guys. Like I'm gonna go to Rotten Tomatoes and see what's opening this week. Of course, they play an ad now.
said, this
Oh my gosh, where's the coming soon. So December 11th is the one they're talking about.
So while they are scrolling, guys, please make sure you leave a comment and like and subscribe to the channel. Share it with your friends, even if you can't donate to our Patreon.
Literally.
If you just put a like and a share, go on our Facebook, hit that share button, share it with your friends. It helps us out a ton. So that doesn't cost you a cent. If you like the content we're making, just go out there and push that play button and like and subscribe.
Uncut Gems.
What's that about?
The drama with Adam Sandler looks so good, and she's in it. The Frozen chick.
And when does that come out?
She plays the wife.
Does she sing in it?
Yeah, Uncut Gems and Bombshell
No,
with Charlize Theron. I gotta see that movie. I have to see that movie.
Okay.
It looks good. I actually like her as a journalist. I know she was on Fox News, but I think Kelly.
Oh yeah, I'm not looking forward to Bombshell at all. But
I like political dramas. That's why I said it. Yeah. So
What about Dark Waters?
I would say Uncut Gems is gonna be a movie we review, and I would say Bombshell for sure. That's a movie that people have been asking about.
Have any of us seen The Good Liar? Because that one's one with two kind of older actor, actress.
I don't know.
That one's.
no, I haven't seen that one either.
But this weekend we were literally seeing nothing. So we're gonna do 2 movies December 13th: Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler, and then Charlize Theron with Bombshell, and we can have both of those reviews out.
December
13th it comes out, but not this weekend.
And we're not gonna watch Jumanji Next Level.
That's Christmas.
No, that's December 13th.
Oh well, there we go. That's.
Wait,
I'd rather watch that than this
I am pretty sure.
Bombshell movie.
Jumanji The Next Level.
Can't wait
Opening
for it.
December 13th. Yep.
So weird. On my Rotten Tomatoes coming soon, it's not even there.
Wait. So yeah, that's out today. Wait a minute. What?
What are you talking about? It's the 5th.
Wait, no, sorry. December 12th it's out. Sorry. Ugh. These days are getting me all confused. Sorry.
All right,
Advanced
guys.
tales.
We need to wrap this up.
Sale.
So, final thoughts?
All right. Final thoughts on what? No.
Any of it?
Go see Knives Out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go see Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit, Knives Out, both great movies. Agreed.
Worth your time more than most movies in theaters right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna see Frozen, so I'm not gonna say it, but
Frozen.
yeah. And then look out for Jumanji. We'll do all 3 next. Well, the 13th is the big one, so we'll have a week off. But then we'll do early review, exit the theater review for Jumanji, and then we'll see Uncut Gems and Bombshell, all 3 of us, that week or weekend, and then we'll do an episode for that. So look out for that schedule. All right, guys. Take care. Bye.
See ya.
See ya. Thank you for joining.